Hello, WBG Explorer. I'm the owner of the server Hopeless5089, and as I promised, this will be a quote unquote PR stream. I decided that instead of ranking each of the teams, I'm not going to hold that to a lot of the coaches because there are a lot of people who are new to VGC here who have never played it before, and some people who are just down here for fun, just coming back, just to play another season again. So I decided that, I wouldn't think it would be very fun if I were to sit there and lambast the team. Instead, I'm just going to critique every team, say what I like, say what I don't like, things like that. Maybe make a couple suggestions here and there for which you can change. We're just going to be going in order of coaches, so it's going to be the first couple coaches first, so Division 1, and then Division 2 we're going to be moving on to by each of these up here, of course. Excuse me. We're going to be starting with Thanksgiving Hydreigon here. I actually thought his team started out pretty well. I actually did like his top 4. I didn't really know what he was doing with the Corviknight, and surprisingly, Blood Moon made it to him round 6. That was insane. That's an insane round 6 Blood Moon right there. I don't know what his last 3 are really doing. It's like a 1-pointer, like 1-pointer, 2-pointer, and like a Mesprit, which is like whatever. His speed control's okay. He has bundle Corv. I think you could actually get rid of Corv here. In all honesty, I'd probably want to get rid of Corv for like Scarm's like 5 if it's on the board still, right? Or just like any other kind of Tailwind mon, right? I kind of see what you're doing here with your team overall. It's like supposed to be Tailroom with the Ursaluna Blood Moon. I don't think it's that bad. Not so whatsoever. The one thing I would say is Rampardos will probably never come. Mesprit's probably going to be hard pressed to come. It's going to be either Mesprit or Corv in this last slot. And I would see if you can make either of them, like maybe like a cheaper option for one of the two. Maybe like a cheaper Trick Room option because your team kind of wants to play a Tailwind a little more. And then you get like a better Tailwind option, if anything. I see why you got the Corv. You probably got it because it was a Steel type. It also has screens and all that. So does Mesprit. Your team doesn't mind the screens that much, but a lot of mons here are kind of frail, like the Bundle on the special side, Mischievous on the physical side. Hold on, Mischievous Flare Main. And yes, Ogerpon Teal Mask, of course. The other main thing is this team kind of has to choose who wants the Terra. There's a lot of guys here who actually want the Terra. Teal Mask wants that Terra. Fluttermane wants the Terra a lot. Blood Moon also wants the Terra. Arcanine might want a Terra defensively in certain matchups. Maybe like an offensive Terra for Bundle. Most of the time, Bundle can get away with it. And then, you gotta choose who gets the booster, Bundle, or Flutter, which is not necessarily bad. I would have probably kept just a Bundle as the speed control. Maybe like a midpoint Tailwind mon, in all honesty. Something around there. I don't think this team's that bad. This is definitely very, very, very usable. Definitely better than what you had last season. No disrespect or anything. Definitely way, way better. This is a major improvement to what you've had last season. It definitely has a lot of pieces and great improvement. I love your Firewater Grass Core. It's a great. I think Corv is definitely the weaker piece to me that's standing out. I've never really been a big fan of Corv anyway. At least with nothing to click Earthquake next to it, because Blood Moon's not going to be clicking Earthquake. Maybe it's something that would like. I would say like Sinistra, but I know Sinistra's not there. So maybe something that could help support the Blood Moon a little bit more would be great, because I don't really see too much Blood Moon support, like nothing like Pollen Puff. We have like the redirection with Ogerpon and all that, and you have like Mesprit screens. Corv could also run screens, but like the Pollen Puff, like for Ursaluna Blood Moon and Arcanine would be really nice if you could ever afford that. You'd probably want to see if there's anything with Tailwind or Trick Room that could get that, and I would go with that. TBH, I think it's Jumpluff, but like Jumpluff really wouldn't fit. So you'd have to look into that yourself. But overall, you don't have to make changes to this team. I think this is a pretty decent team overall. I really like it. Next would be Zaduk, and then this was one of those teams I was looking at where this is definitely a top 6 team. I like what you were doing with the Ogerpon Florges. There's another team that has like that similar one. I think it's in Explorer 2 with an Ogerpon and a Florges. I think they have Heartflame. I think we'll see it when we get to it. But I like that little synergy right there with the Flower Veil. Of course, it doesn't work if Ogerpon Terras, but before it Terras, it does work. Like on Lead, they can't intimidate you or anything. I kind of see what you were doing here. So you have like the setup angles here with redirection and screens for the Gmolt and also Intimidate and all that. But I feel like I would say, because your main offensive pieces are Gmolt, Hark, and Wellspring, which are kind of forced into like an offensive Wellspring on this team. I'm not the biggest fan of SD Wellspring. I think the best ones are the bulkier ones. So the reason I would say that like these two might have to carry offensively is the thing. The Gmote's a really strong Pokemon. I've used Gmote plenty of times. It's been great every single time. It's not Swish Gmote. The other thing is your speed tiers. Your speed tiers are like very, very, very compact and all this. They're all like squished in to this like 90, 70 range, and then you have Ogerpon. Ogerpon also being your fastest Mon means you might struggle with like those Prankster Tailwind modes, or even like those just really, really like fast Pokemon in general, like a Sneasler or something, will just be able to outspeed your entire team. And that might be like an issue because you have no way of really stopping that immediately. Well, outside of like T-Wave from Grimmsnarl, which can be considered, or Scary Face, which could also be considered a form of speed control. So, you know, Suicune and Grimmsnarl are really going to have to carry that speed control compartment because Gmol's not going to be doing it. Gmol has to be set up on this team for the most part. I would give you the Fletchling, but, you know, Fletchling's a one-pointer. You know, benching any of your top 6 for the Fletchling is really hurting you more in composition than anything. I see why you got the Fletchling, but I feel like these top 6 should probably come maybe like the Florges over one of these guys if they have like a really, really bad matchup, if anything. These top 6. And then the other thing is I feel like nothing other than the Gmote would benefit from Sinistra. It's really the hospitality kind of thing because your Trick Room mode is the Dawn Fan. But then, like, what are you benching for Dawn Fan? Grimmsnarl? That would have to be it, right? You'd have to bench Grimmsnarl or maybe Suicune for it. I feel like if you're going to bring like a Trick Room mode, you'd have to bring Wellspring, Sinistra, Gmote, Hark, this guy, and then maybe like one more guy. One of these two right here. In order to bring like a Trick Room mode, if anything. And then Donphan's also not the strongest Trick Room guy. Something like a Glastrier would be like a super solid Trick Room guy. Like that guy, he's in Trick Room. He works at anti-Trick Room, right? Amoonguss, anti-Trick Room and all that. Sinistra can work for the most part, but it's not the greatest. Not at all. Yeah, overall, this team has the pieces. I think that was the angle you were going for. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like the setup. If I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like the setup Ogerpon Gmote thing, and then you have like the bunch of support pieces here, and then Harkonine just like a general Gloomon. So I could kind of see what you were going for. I think like the Magneton and the Donphan might need to change. I think Florges could maybe stay, maybe, or you could change it to Sinistra. I don't know because I don't feel like it benefits anything other than Gmote. It could benefit Ogerpon sometimes, like if you tear out an Ogerpon and Ogerpon becomes kind of bulky-ish. So then you have like that Sinistra in Tim cycle with the Hark and Sinistra with the Ogerpon and all that kind of jazz, right? But yeah, that would have to be you know, if you just kill Ogerpon, or like you get like crit or something, or like you get status, unfortunately, or even like they hit you with a tech that you didn't expect, and then Ogerpon dies, and you might be like, oh no, and then lose the game from there. But yeah, that's how I think about this team. It's not the worst team. Definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, if you want to see here, you could see stuff like you have like a Taunt, Encore here, your Speed Control here. It's mostly Suicune for the most part, which is why I actually like the Suicune pick. I think this was a decent Speed Control Pokemon here. It's just that, you know, like bringing it with Ogerpon might not be ideal all the time, but it's fine. It's fine. Because like my ideal format for this team would be 1, 2, 3, and then mid one of you, 1-1, right? Like every game, and maybe Suicune could come like Calm Mind and all that. So I could see it. But you could definitely make changes here to improve the team. Next is Gorex. I don't got much to say here. I mean, what could you say about this? What is this team? This is a broken team. This team is broken. It's a really, really good team. This team will probably win the division. I mean, if he can outplay, if he outplays, I mean, yeah, he probably wins the division. I mean, this is a great team. I don't got much to say. This is a very well built team. I know Gorex didn't build it himself, but it's a very well built team. Shout outs to Piranha Plant for building this. This insane. And then you have like Rhyperior, Trev. Salazzle, I don't know what Zoroark is doing here. He's pretty cool though. But this is a very, very, very solid 9-mon team. It is really, really strong. I really like this team. This would probably be my number one team if I were actually ranked. This would probably be my number one team between all the divisions. This one right here. This is an insanity of a team. And I can explain why. Then you have Thundy speed control. The speed control will be like the one thing because you're kind of relying on Thundy for the speed control. But like the team hits so hard already, there's so much that you have to prep for that, and there's so many things can go wrong. Like you say, you think they're gonna lead Thundy Enam, they lead Shifu Rapid Goth, right? Oh, okay. Well, I probably right. Oh, okay. Well, I probably just lose now, right? They can do like Goth Thundy even, or even Thundy Enam. Now you gotta deal with Thundy Enam, Gambit Goth, Salazzle, Shifu. Rhyperior is very bringable as a Pokemon as anti-trick room. It's overall very, very strong. Very, very, very strong team. It's I don't know. I don't know how much more I can say about it. It's great. Next team. Mana Wing. And I hope that's how you say it. I was looking at this team and yeah, too many ice types. Too many ice types. The other thing is like your main threats are really physical. You're kind of like Sedux, his Arcanine Hisu has like an insane matchup here versus your team, right? Like anything with Intimidate, that's like semi bringable. So let's see like Arcanine Hisu, Arcanine, Hitmontop, Scrafty, all those guys, even any of the Tauros forms, right? They have such a good matchup versus this team in specific because you have four ice types, right? I don't even think Lapras will hit the field ever, but you have four ice types, right? And then like two of them are physical. Iron Hands is probably coming to every game. He's physical. Gyarados is physical. You know that. Then you have like the Grafai slacking mode, which also doesn't like intimidate. So like you have like one clear amulet behind how many Pokemon? At least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? 5 want a clear amulet. Here. I think this team's doing a lot. You have the two trick room setters for two trick room setters in Ravska and Dusknoir for the Glastrier and Iron Hands, right? It's not horrible. That's not horrible at all. That's fine. But yeah, it seems like I think it's doing way too much in all that. It's like, and then your speed control's pretty bad as well. Like you kind of get like owned by all the all those prankster guys like Murkrow, Illumise, Volbeat, Whimsicott, all those guys kind of like own your team because they could just change the weather so you can't set screens. They could taunt the Ninetales, since you can't set screens. Tailwind, outrun all your guys. Trick Room, taunt, encore your Trick Room guys. Even like Charm, Stat Drop, stop you from getting up Trick Room and all that. Like this team hates any form of disruption. Like in theory, if disruption didn't exist, this would be pretty good. You need like to pivot away from the ice types, maybe. Like I think these guys gotta go. These bottom 5, they would definitely have to go. He only have 5 transactions because the season started, right? So maybe like these 5, or maybe you could keep the Grafai slack and get rid of 1, 2, 3, and maybe the Glastrier, and then keep the backs. Get rid of these guys, and then just like try to fix it, and maybe get like some anti-intim, maybe some better speed control and all that kind of stuff. Because yeah, this team definitely has like a lot of flaws. And the big one is how many physical attackers you have. Because your special attackers are Rabska, A-Tails, and Lapras. So that definitely needs to be fixed up. Is there anything else really? One thing I will say is I do think, despite all that, because he is like that Pokemon, Iron Hands probably can carry your draft. Screens, Iron Hands is really strong. You just gotta watch out for like the random Psychic Fang text where as they predict they predict screens, and then they just Psychic Fangs Iron Hands and for super effective damage. So you gotta watch out for that. Of course, you have the screens backs too. And of course, I think the Gyarados might have been overkill, TBH, because you already have backs for that kind of stuff. So the Gyarados might have been a little bit overkill for it because backs will do the same thing but better. So you're probably just gonna run into Gyarados every week. But then your team's so bulky physically though. That's the other thing. Your team's so bulky physically, right? That you don't need that Intim. You would need Snarl more. Something for like that special attack stat drop. So Iron Hands eats those hits better. Because like I think there's a Chi Yu draft coming up later. There should be a Chi-Yu draft coming up later. Like, your Chi-Yu matchup is so bad. Your matchup into like all these like high power top tiers is really, really bad. Yeah, I think that should definitely get fixed along the line. Next is Winter Soul. I actually like this team. Despite the solo dozo, I would probably rank this team really, really high if you if you had a Tatsu on here. This is solo dozo. The funny thing is, I don't think you actually need Murkrow. I think Murkrow is the Pokemon you don't need here because nothing on your team benefits from Murkrow. Like, just straight up, like nothing here benefits from Murkrow because look how fast your team is, right? Because you have one, two, three, four, right? These guys are all above 110 speed, right? And these guys are like 50, 30, right? So you don't need the Murkrow because Murkrow doesn't do anything for you because your team's already so fast. But like that's really it because so most base 100 guys also are gonna run max HP versus your team. People will not speed creep Murkrow because Murkrow is not really that real. So what's gonna happen is Pokemon who are like base 100 through 80 speed, they're just gonna throw if they have like speed control and all that, they'll probably creep for that like a -1 POW, -1 Pult, maybe like +2 to outspeed Pult, right? In Tailwind. And that's going to be really tough because now some of these guys, now you got to deal with all these guys being really, really bulky. I'll give you this though. I do like the Pow Pult. I think Iron Valiant is really cool for this team. I think Iron Valiant could probably go, or maybe the Serp. The Serp could probably go too. But I think if anything, if honestly you drop the Murkrow Serp and then you just throw Tatsu on here and then like something else to just help out generally with those like slower modes. Oh yeah, this team would be kind of crazy. This team would be probably really, really, and really, really annoying to prep for because then you have like that instant fake out parting shot into Dozo Giri, you know, that kind of nonsense. Yeah, that's so annoying. And then you have like Pow Pull, and you got to deal with that, and you got to deal with the Iron Valiant in the back, or like nah. Yeah, that would be super, super annoying. I think the transaction would definitely be drop one of these guys, both of these guys for a Tatsu, and then like something else. I think the solo Dozo. I see how it could work. Like for Trick Room stuff, because your team's so generally fast. Like I said, the issue is because you have nothing in. So this speed tier right here, this is not like real. Your base 100 speed mon has to be something real. Like a Zapdos. Something like Zapdos is insanely real. Probably something like above 10, like 10 and above. That's not a support mon, right? Do people creep Tatsu? I would say to an extent. Some people would creep a Tatsugiri. Some people wouldn't. But even Tatsugiri is like pretty real, where they would have to speed creep it in order to not lose to it right away. Right? So like even then, like Tatsugiri would help in that regard of, you know, base 100s, base 80s, base 90s, all running max HP versus your team. Even then, let's say like Ogerpon Wellspring, right? Or even Ogerpon Hearthflame, they're gonna run max HP versus your team. And you don't want things to run max HP versus POW. Because you just want to pick up those Okos and just like steamroll through their team. So yeah, I would definitely look into that Tatsu, and then maybe like some other like speed tier mon. But overall, decent draft overall. It's not the worst. All right, now we have LS's team. This seems pretty dicey. Excuse me. I love the top three. You have Heartflame, Double Genie. Like what the hell? Big believer in Lando Eye right now too. Lando Eye is amazing in the format. Hell yeah. I'm very happy that you got that. The rain mode's great. You have sun mode too. And all that. Well, you want to run rain with Heartflame, but if you want to run Sandsear Storm and you don't want to miss, you'd run that with the Lando. Don't miss your Sandsear Storms. The main thing that's really throwing me off is this Bronzong Hydra. I see why you got the Hydra. Kinda. But I don't know why you got Zong. Because your Trick Room mode is just so much weaker, right? So you wouldn't use Zong as the Trick Room mode. You'd use Bronzong, right, as a Trick Room mode, right? And then you have to bring Conk, right? But what else are you bringing? You're not bringing Torn. So then you have, like, the Lando Eye or Ogerpon in Trick Room. Unless you're bringing Prinplup. But then why would you... What would you bring then? You would bring 1, 2, 3, right? I think these 3 have to come every game. You bring 1, 2, and then you bench these guys for Prinplup? Like, I don't think so. I think the Zong doesn't really work here. I think you could have gotten away with just Conk as that Trick Room Mon, but not setting Trick Room because your Tailwind mode's pretty good with those three. Another thing you could have done is maybe like 120 Mon if it was there. You could have grabbed one just so like in case like there's some faster stuff for Trick Room Tailwind modes and all that. Because even then, like you have like some like let's say like fast Pokemon. What are we thinking? Like Bundle, Pow, Flutter, right? Flutter was actually be really annoying for this team. But the Zong doesn't help. Not at all. Like Flutter does destroy your team, inside out. So maybe like a Steel type that's not weak to that, not weak to Ghost, for sure. I don't think you need the Trick Room mode at all though. I think you can keep these guys. You can keep these guys and just get rid of like Zong, maybe like the Prinplup and Bennett. I don't know what these guys are doing. And just like for something else, because your team doesn't benefit from Trick Room. It's only the Conkeldurr, so you didn't need Trick Room because Conkeldurr can just function as anti-Trick Room. You know they're gonna set up Trick Room. You bring in Conk, click Hammer Arm, Iron Fist, drop your speed. Now you're slower than their Trick Room guys, and you just tell your Conk to deal with their Trick Room guys. And then what are they gonna do about that? You know, it's a Conkeldurr in Trick Room. He's a strong guy. He's great. I would say Conkeldurr is a very solid Trick Room and anti-Trick Room mon. Yeah, I definitely think Zong would have to go here. Definitely the Zong. Overall, though, I really like this top three. Conk's a fire pick. Definitely fire. You should have done that strat where you get like Armor Rouge and DD, and then you just like self wisp. You just self wisp your guts on. You switch it in. Get the Trick Room up. You switch it in. Self wisp. And now you got guts plus an item. It's fire. Next is Beyond. Beyond's team is interesting. For sure. This is definitely the too many support mon syndrome. I think these four are great. These four are good here. The rest of these guys are kind of like, what? Maybe because Beyond was getting skipped a lot in the draft, they kind of just like picked whatever, right? Just make a makeup pick. I think Elu, Clef, and Ditto can go. These guys definitely can go for something else, and because they're like Ditto and Illumise are kind of high priced, you can definitely fill out your team with other stuff. Like a water type. You're missing a water type. I think. Can I see what you are missing here? Let's see. Does it tell me what you're missing? Yeah, like a water, fire, flying. Yeah, flying's kind of. Oh no, you're not missing flying. Oh, you don't have a flying. You have less flying resist, but you're definitely missing a water type. Yeah. Your fire resist is also pretty dire. It is Iron Moth. So let's say you play like a Heatran, right? Heatran comes in, it's like Safety Goggles, Terra Fairy. Oh, you're in a lot of trouble because now you gotta predict this thing to like Terra Fairy with the Iron Moth. Even then, he doesn't need to Terra Fairy right away, especially if Shifu's not out. He could just sit there and just start clicking moves, which is really annoying. Like those like offensive fire types are gonna be really annoying for your team, for sure. I would definitely look into getting a water, and I think Elu, Clef, and Ditto could definitely go because Zapdos and Amoonguss are gonna do what both of those guys do, which is that redirection, tailwind kind of stuff. Elu can do other stuff, but I think Zapdos kind of covers it for the most part. And then you could look into like getting like something else with Encore. I know that kind of jazz. I do like this Zapdos pick though. Zapdos was good here. I think that was good. Next is I Miss Dad. I believe he has Annihilate Wimp. No, he does not have Annihilate Whimsicott. He's Annihilate Mousehold. Okay, almost. This team has a decent amount of modes. I actually like Screamtail here. I actually do like the Screamtail here. I actually like this team. Grown fond of it while looking at it. Overall, I don't know what H-Sam does here. However, he's pretty good in singles. He has to be good here, right? So the main thing your team is actually missing is that immediate power. Some teams have immediate power. If I can go back, let me see. Oops. Where is this one, right? This is the one I'm thinking of? Yeah. This team has immediate power. You have 1, 2, 3 for just something that immediately hits hard, right? Throw something in. You could pick up Oko's on lead with these guys, right? Like that Pult Pow mode. It's really strong. Yes, Specs Pult, Banded Pult, all that kind of jazz. You could even have Specs Iron Valiant. Really strong, right? You're missing that immediate power. However, you do good bulk. You have good bulk. You have Annihilate Screens that follow me and all that. Even Pop Bomb. You can Terra Normal Wildlands Pop Bomb. I know that kills everything on sight. Like nothing that's not a resist lives that. I know that, right? It's just like I wish you had some kind of immediate power. This is not a bad team by any means. It's a very balanced team. It'll definitely come down to your builder onto how you'll perform throughout the season. For sure. You're gonna have to have probably some good building skills. Overall, just generally good playing. I think Annihilate Mousehold, you don't gotta. It's not the hardest thing to pilot. It could be definitely annoying, but in this div, I think that it'll do really, really well. Annihilate Mousehold. I think a lot of people might not be able to because they're kind of newer to doubles. They're not going to be able to play around it unless you just kind of like just keep clicking follow me. But if you know how to play Annihilate Mousehold, right, or learn how to play Annihilate Mousehold, well, then yeah, you'll definitely succeed in this. I love the Scream Tail for the screen. I love the Scream Tail for the screens though. For this, it's also just generally really annoying. You have that edge. You have that Disquake mode with these guys. Potential Tailwind for these guys to abuse. Your Trick Room mode is lacking. I'm gonna say it. I don't think Avalugg is real. I don't think that guy is real. I don't know. Unless like Screamtail gets like swagger or something and you like sell swagger Trick Room, I don't know what Avalugg is gonna do. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie. Thwacky's cool. Thwacky's cool. Definitely cool. You're gonna notice as you're playing is that 55 base power Grassy Glide. Yeah, it ain't it. It ain't it. That's used. It's so much significantly more noticeable. Like in the past gen, you do like 60, 70. Now you're doing like 40, 30, and it's like, wow, Jesus, this guy does not do any damage. I wonder how H-Sam would do. I actually haven't seen a lot of H-Sam in VGC specifically. I've seen him in doubles, and he's good in doubles. Double 66. I haven't seen him too much in VGC. I'm hoping that you can pop off of him, and just to see how he does overall. Overall, I like this team. I think this team has no really glaring issue. Super glaring issue. I think because it's Annihilate Mousehold with screens and Tailwind, it overall will do very well in this division. Now, Helix's team. Now, Helix actually does have a glaring issue. I want you guys to just look at his team for a second. You just kind of like process what his team is. It's a Sun team, obviously. However, there is one big thing. He does not have a ground immunity. His ground immunity is Orform. That's really, really bad. Really, really bad. You're going to have to Terra to be a ground immunity. And the worst part is your Terra Ogerpon, which you're probably not going to Terra your Ogerpon because you got Cornerstone. It turns into a rock type, which is weak to ground. So the main thing about Sun teams like this is you're relying to bring Torkoal. So Torkoal kind of has to come to get. So games you're going to bring Wake, you have to bring the Torkoal. So in this stead, I would have said you should get like Prankster Tailwind. Prankster Sunny Day. With Sun. I love Prankster Sunny Daemons with Sun teams because now it gives me the option to not bring my Sunsetter. Instead, I bring my Prankster one. You can kind of be like a little bit more flexible with it. So that's the main drawback of Sun teams is that you have to bring your Sunsetter. Well, in this team's case, you kind of gotta bring Torkoal because like. So what are your 4 without the Torkoal, right? You have, let's say you would do like Roaring Moon Tusk, Hat, Ogerpon? Unless you're bringing Sunless Wake, which you're gonna notice how much like less hard, like significantly weaker Walking Wake is without Sun. I definitely think the first 4 can function without it, being the Roaring Moon and Tusk. Definitely I don't think Wake can function, and I don't know how bringable your bottom 3 are. Yeah, Fido's never coming, but I don't know how bringable Pex or Orform are. Like, Orform is kind of needed because you don't have a ground resist. But the issue is you have to bench one of your top guys for the Orform. So in some cases, some people might just be like, alright, so let's say, who do we just cover? I Miss Dad, right? I Miss Dad leaves Kilowattrel plus Garchomp. And now you're kind of like, whoa, shit, what do I do versus this? Because you gotta kill the Garchomp right away. Or you're just gonna lose to it. And he could just Prankster T-Wind, you Terrifying your Roaring Moon, and then he just deletes you the next turn with a Kilowattrel because it got the charge boost. So it's like, it's really, like, Disquake is super annoying for your team. Earthquake's really annoying in general. That definitely needs to be fixed. I mean, that's just the issue with most Sun teams in doubles, though. It is inherently that Earthquake Rock Slide kind of rock them. You do have the Sun picks. You have the Sun picks, like Moon, Tusk, Wake, all that, those guys basically on every Sun team. The Sun Room with Hatterene and all that. I think the Ogerpon might be the thing that has to go. If you're going to make any immediate changes, it might have to be the Ogerpon. Because I think your team is way too weak to Earthquake right now, like outside of Terra. You're going to have to Terra into something that resists ground like every week. Or you're just going to have to win before they can out-offense you. Essentially. I do like the sun mode, like the sun room mode, and hat Torkoal. The only issue is like after, if one of them dies, what do you do? Like actually, like what do you do? Because like then you're bringing into Tusk, Moon, or Wake. And if any of them get the speed boost and you're in Trick Room, well, now you're just like, oh, okay. I don't know what to do now. Tusk will probably be the one, right? It has to be, probably have to be Tusk. And then you have to run Bulky Tusk. The other thing is you have 3 booster slots. You don't bring Sun, then you have 3 booster energy contention slots. And Roaring Moon might have to be the one every single time because you might want that immediate Tailwind. And so then, but it's no big deal because I don't think Tusk is gonna want that booster. Wake might want it though. On a couple occasions, Wake might want it, but I think your main booster hog is gonna be that Moon. This Moon right here. But overall, yeah, you might have to like look into something else for these two because they're way too expensive and they're not benefiting these like 4 right here unless you drop off the Wake or something. And no, this would be the last team for this stock, and then this one is a Chi-Yu team. Yeah, this Chi-Yu, if we go back to like half of these drafts, Chi-Yu beats every single one of these. So congratulations, you did draft the Z win con of the division, being Chi-Yu. Now, how's the rest of your team add up? I haven't seen a lot of Raging Bolt in draft, so I actually don't know how he'll perform. He's brand new. I hope he performs very well. On paper, he sounds pretty good with Chi-Yu. On paper, he does. We'll see how it does in practice. I like Torn T on this draft, obviously. You have the anti-trick room in Farig and all that, and you have like a decent pivot with the Azu and all that. I think Azu's gonna have to be like that hard carry for this team. Azu definitely gonna have to put in a lot of work here. He's gonna have to. And then I do like it because then things don't want to Terra into an Azu resist. So you got like Terra Grass, right? Don't want to Terra Grass. Yeah, Chi-Yu Torn T. Don't want to Terra Water. Why? You got that Raging Bolt right there. So then people might want to Terra Dragon, but then Azu is a fairy, so that's kind of like, ooh, I don't know. Yeah, definitely good build around Azu. I think Azu has a lot of support here for it to very well pop off. I would have loved like maybe some kind of screens. Screens would have went hard on this team. I mean, Farig has screens, but like if you could like get off a BD with Azu, like something to enable BD on Azu, that would go kind of crazy. Like the Hitmonlee Bramble are like whatever. I mean, you could pair the Bramble with the Torn T. So can Iron Threads. Avalok's kind of a gas pig. Avalok's kind of this Avalok's kind of gas on this team. I don't think it's gonna come to any game, but he is kind of gas. I'll give you that. You drafted the funny one. You did draft the one with the big chin, so that guy's kind of cool. I think your top 5 are really strong. I think the rest of the team is like whatever. Right? It's probably just gonna be always every week top 5 or maybe top 3 plus Azu, and then you bring like whichever like your remaining mons you want. I don't know about the Hitmonlee. The Hitmonlee is like that one thing that's kind of throwing me off. If it feels a different kind of fake out mon, it might have been better. Like obviously you couldn't enough like afford like a Hitmontop, but like a Hitmontop or a Scrafty in that Hitmonlee slot would have went a really, really long way. Especially for this team. But no, overall it's decent team. I definitely think this is definitely a top 5 team. Definitely top 5. Well, not like top 5 in terms of rankings. Definitely like top 5 as in the top 5 Pokemon. Your top 5 picks are going to come every single game. It's just how much leverage you can get out of like this Chi-Yu Torn Raging Bolt mode. Overall, I will say I did wish you had like a better knocker than Iron Threads. Iron Threads is okay. He's okay. Dude, I really like Chi-Yu with knock teams. I guess you could knock with Torn. You can knock with Torn, so it's not the worst. But like he's knocking off like a random Assault Vest. Like let's say you play like an Iron Hands. You just knock its Assault Vest, and then you just kill it next time with Chi-Yu. Like, dang, he just died. Yeah, it's not a bad team. Not a bad team at all. And that should be it for this stock. Alright, and then we'll go on to the next one, which will be right here. And then we will be starting it off, I believe, it is High Crocs. Alright, so now we have High Crocs. The Pumpkaboo man himself. His player is so good, he permanently put someone into retirement. He never played VGC, came in, Played one VGC game in the team tour, and then put another guy into retirement. Nobody even knows who he is anymore. I know who he is, but a lot of people don't. They only remember him that he got cooked by Punkaboo. All right, this team overall is interesting. It's definitely interesting. This is definitely a cooking kind of team. I feel like your Whimsicott mode isn't the worst. The H Zoroark is throwing me off a bit. He's a cool Pokemon, but I feel like it could just be like, if this was a Gengar, I would like it a lot more. I would have really liked it a lot more if it was a Gengar over H Zoroark. H Zoroark is cool though. H Zoroark is cool. You could definitely play mind games with it and all that kind of jazz. Like you can't disguise his Lando, but you could disguise his like Entei, not Iron, Hariyama, Cress, Belly Bolt, Barraskewda, all that. And then you got the Speedball Cacturn core, iconic, of course, iconic Speedball Cacturn core. Shadowstone Inferno Armory, of course. I don't know what Barraskewda is actually doing here. I'm guessing you're gonna click Rain, like Rain with the Whimsicott, right? But maybe you just got it for speed. I'm not too sure why you had gotten it, because if you're gonna click Rain with the Whimsicott, you could have gotten like a Kingdra in that slot, and then Kingdra would have went a really a long way, because then you have like that fake tears. Rain Dance, Tailwind kind of thing with Whimsicott, that could be kind of nasty, right? And then your team is already leaning pretty physical too, so I definitely feel like the Kingdra over the Barraskewda if you're just going for a random Rainmon. No, I think you got it for the speed tier of 136, which you didn't need because you have the best speed control in the game, and top of like one of the best Trick Room setters, right? So you definitely didn't need like a 130 speed. Tier. If you thought you needed it, you didn't, right? So in this case, if you have gotten it for a Rainmon, I would definitely look into getting Kingdra instead. Or even like, oh no, I don't think Seismitoad is in this gen, is it? Which one am I thinking of? Maybe I think it's Ludicolo. I'm thinking of Ludicolo. But like another special Rainmon with Muddy Water. I don't think, does Ludicolo got Muddy Water in this gen? I don't remember. But I would definitely look into that for one of those guys for sure. This is a good team overall. I think that Barraskewda is like that one like sore thumb sticking out. I don't mind the 8 Zoro that much. But like it as your only like prevalent special attacker is like that like thing that kind of like is kind of bad. You do have Entei though. Entei Lando could in theory run special if they want to. Entei probably not. Lando can. And, I really like fake tier spam with Whimsicott. So, like, definitely look into getting a special attacker, for sure. And, of course, you have Belly Bolt Crest. Belly Bolt is gas with Cresselia. And then finally, Trip's team. Trip's team is a doozy, indeed. There's a lot of random picks here. There's a lot of random picks here. I'm not really too sure what Garg, Ninetales, Frostmaw, Vileplume do for you here. This would take a lot to fix this team. The big issue is that your speed control. Golden Go wants good speed control, right? If you have a Golden Go draft, your speed control is so important, right? Well, the picks around Golden Go also have to be important, right? This draft just does not work for Golden Go or Rillaboom. The Drifblim is okay. Now, that means that you probably want to bring Rillaboom to most games. And if this is the case, then you probably have to bring 1, 2, 3, 4 to every game, right? These 4 are going to have to carry the Golden Go, Rillaboom, Drifblim, Prim. Rotom he can do well too. But I think Garg, Vileplume, Ninetales, Frostmoth are kind of like, because Ninetales doesn't add anything for your team. Maybe you were sniping one of those guys who had like a Sun team or something when you got Ninetales, but yeah, Ninetales adds nothing. I don't think the Vileplume with the Ninetales adds anything either, because you already have Rilla for your grass. Medicham's okay, Fake Out Mon. It's okay. It's just not fast enough to work on this team without the Tailwind, because all your speed tiers are all clumped together. This would be another case of just like Lando I outruns your entire team. Like if you play LS, what do you do? Like, what do you do? Like, he goes like Torn, Lando, Heart Flame, and then you just can't beat that. Like, offensively, you can't. So then you gotta like outplay and play defense with the defensive Terras. And like, Come on now, most of us are gonna be like 5 minute prepping games. We don't want to think about that. You know what I mean? Yeah, this team it needs a lot. It needs a lot to fix it. It definitely like some real stinker picks here. I will say I do like Rillaboom, Rotom Heat, Golden Go, Prim. I think that's not that bad of a core. If it had you have better speed control behind it, like even like a tail room mode behind it, that wasn't Drifblim, who has to run both. I think I could have liked this team a lot more. Definitely. All right, next is Final Crusader. All right, and now we're cooking. Now we are cooking. So this is a Dozo Geary team with random Archelodon. I don't hate Archelodon. I kind of wish you had like a rain mode with it, but like it's whatever. Archelodon's a good one. This team's definitely a lot to process for me because this is the first time I'm actually looking at this team. I kind of forgot about this one. Like up until now, I had notes for it, but I forgot to write them down. Yeah, I like it's Dozo Gary. It's Dozo Gary. Come on now, it's Dozo Gary. Like you can't really go wrong in any bottom div with Dozo Gary. Dozo Gary Fluttermane. That's crazy. The issue is just like the rest of the picks. I liked Archelodon. I wish you had because you fake out U-turn with the Sneasler. You have all that. The Gmaul is actually kind of what feels weird. The Gmaul, Malamar, Delphox. Because your team doesn't support Gmaul, right? And Gmaul's not a Tailwind setter. If you wanted a Tailwind setter, you should have got Manabuzz. Because it's bulky, good pivot, can be really annoying, knock off, foul play, Chipmons or whatever has Toxic. If you needed Toxic, a wall or something for Dozo Gear to come in and clean. And it probably is going to get off a couple things, has Overcoat and some niche techs, right? If you were going to get it like a bulky T-Wind Flaming Dark, you would probably get Manabuzz here, because it's also cheaper too. I don't know what Malamar adds to your team, and I definitely don't know what Delphox adds to your team. Maybe it was a speed tier kind of thing, or just like, oh, I need a fire type, and I got this. Honestly, if you got like Typhlosion Hissu, or just like a regular Typhlosion over to Delphox, it probably would have been more value. Just so you have like that, like another Pokemon that's like a decent, like, oh, well, if they predict wrong in the Dozo Geary, I'm just going to own them with this Pokemon. I think the Sneasler Fluttermane is good. I think Archelodon's Archelodon. He's new. I think he's really cool as a new mon. I think, from my experience, that guy is really annoying and really, really good. I wish you just had, like, yeah, that bulky pivot would be really, really nice. I like the bulky pivots on Dozo Geary teams. I think you should change the Gmold, definitely. And I don't know what Malamar does. You're going to have to inform me what Malamar does for your team, because I'm not too sure myself. Overall, I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I even like the Arbo. These guys are good. This 6, really, really strong. These guys are good. This 6, really, really strong. I can see what you were trying to get with the Gmo. I think Mandibus is a little better. But, it's not a bad team. By no means. I'm not going to say this team can't win. This team probably going to get a lot of wins. He's got to pilot it right. Next is Prince of the Underworld. This team. I actually really like this team. Genuinely, I actually really like this team. I was looking at this earlier. This was the other Thunder Enam team. Because you have the Thunder Enam for speed control. And I would actually say this. I think you just get rid of Prim. I think the pick here that you don't want is the Prim. I think you take that Prim, you take that Hatter Rim, and then you just take them and then get like a good T-Wind Mon, good like okayish Trick Room setter. You can even get rid of Thwacky too, because you don't really need a Thwacky. You take those 3, trade it out for a better T-Wind Mon, better T-Wind speed control Pokemon, and Trick Room setter. You're good to go. Golden. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, great. You even got a new Mon. Look, you got Gouging Fire round 9, right? Like, you even got a new Mon on your team. So now you got to try out and have fun with a new guy, right? Great. Amazing. Right? Yeah, just change up the Prim, because the Prim doesn't add anything. Because you already have the Araquanid Enam, which are going to do the same thing Prim's going to do. And I think both of them are better off for the team. Now, I will say, Rock Slide annihilates your team. A rock slide goes kind of crazy. So if you want to drop the Araquanid, I can see it. I believe Araquanid still gets Wide Guard this gen, so you probably want to keep the Araquanid. But yeah, Rock goes hard versus your team, like super hard. Like Rock types, Terra Rock, Jesus Christ. Definitely look into like a steel type or like a fighting type. Definitely because that resist rock. I should preference that resist rock. So don't get like a Halucha who's like, oh well, he's a fighting type and he's neutral to rock. Like no, you want to rock resist because of the rest of your guys. Overall, I think this team's pretty solid. You had a good idea of what you were doing here. I think that just that glaring rock weakness right now with this team, and that speed control because like Sunday's okay speed control with E-Web's T-Wave, but you definitely want like T-Wind. Definitely what you definitely want T-Wind overall for sure. So you get those guys. I haven't seen too much of Gouging Fires. He's new, of course. That's why you got the double fire car. I'm sure you got him because he's new. So that'll be cool. Overall, strong team. Definitely strong. All right. Next is Lugia, or I guess Sherlug. I think that's his current name, but he used to go by Lugia, so if I haven't looked that on the doc. All right. So now we have this team. This is a doozy. This is another Chen Pao Dragapult team. This looks like a ladder team. This looks like a ladder team. Does something have Rain Dance? Is there like a priority Rain Dance mod on this team? He got the I think Floatzel was like 4. For what it is, Floatzel's not bad for 4 points. Not at all. Floatzel's not that bad for 4. Sure. Definitely. What can I say? Because it's Chen Pao Instant Pulse. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely strong. The priority on this team's really strong. Fairy types. Right, there it is. Fairy types look annoying for your team. You're probably going to have to do a couple terrors out of some stuff for the fairy. Because Registeel's your only fairy resist. But Registeel's not bad because you could cheese gaze at Registeel. The annoying part is your own POW for Registeel. Because let's say you're trying to do like Iron Defense Body Press stuff, and then someone techs like Sacred Sword because they're gonna bring it because fighting move because it's good into your team generally, and they tech like Sacred Sword, it's gonna go through your defense boost, and then you get that sort of ruined defense drop as well, and Registeel might just get obliterated. In that case, but overall you could do some cheesy stuff. I think what's his face that Fungus should get Pollen Puff, so you can do like some Rage Powder Pollen Puff stuff with the Registeel as well. And then you have like I actually don't. I'm gonna be real. I don't think you actually needed the Kilo Watchful. I don't know if you needed Tailwind. Cause I feel like with Pow Pult you don't need Tailwind because they're already fast enough. They outspeed the entire meta. So you just want like a good Trick Room mode. So people, if in case they bring Trick Room, or just like generally like strong Pokemon that can like outstall the Tailwind or whatever. Because you have that in like Instant Raging Bolt who could play in the Tailwind and not really care. Or even then, like, Dragapult outspeeds, like, a couple Pokemon in Tailwind for what it is, too. So, like, I don't know. I feel like you could get rid of the Kilo. And probably the Floatzel, too. The bottom 2 can definitely go. Because you definitely sunk a bit of points into it. So it's, like 14 points you could use somewhere else. To get some other stuff. Probably a better water type, right? And water type, grass type. Your other thing is, this is the other team that, like, ground moves kind of own. Especially because you have POW. So, like, let's say you play, like, a Garchomp. Right? And then, like, he, like, terrors into a type that just resists Ice Shard or something. Like if you play Disquake, yeah, that would be really annoying, too. Like that other guard. I think you're not going to play them. You wouldn't play them until playoffs, but the Garchomp Kilo team, that other one would be really annoying for you. Or even, like, the Prankster T-Wind plus Earthquake combo is really annoying for your team. Same with Rock Slide. Like, spread moves kind of do, like, go in on your team. So maybe look into White Guard, potentially. I also think your Trick Room abusers, being Registeel and Instant, aren't the greatest. You have better anti-Trick Room than anything, so I don't know if you would need the Farig that much, because your anti-Trick Room is strong. Your anti-Trick Room game is actually really strong. I'll give you that. The 1, 2, 3 are really good anti-Trick Room, so I think Farig plus the Floatzel plus Kilo can probably go, but you can keep the Farig for what it is. If you really want the Farig for that Trick Room option. But I think Floatzel and Kilo could definitely go. That would be it though. Next would be Kyoto. I hope I said that right. And then this is their team. They got the infamous 3-point Dodrio, who is definitely a steal with a Tailwind Brave Bird knockoff. It's definitely very real. They got a Sand team. They definitely got a sand team. The thing about this is I don't like their trick room setters. I really don't like their trick room setter. It's Ladia Shandy, right? Let me see. I think I have a thing down here. Does it? It doesn't. Latias does not get trick room. Okay, it is just Chandelure. Yeah, yeah. I don't know about that. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I definitely don't know about Chandelure trick room. This is that other team that like Intim is really just really good into intimidate. Sylveon's gonna be so awkward here because like you want to get up trick room, but then it's just like the trick room's gonna be hard to get up because you have Chandelure. So you kind of gotta like fake out with the Iron Hands to get up trick room. But because like Chandelure is just not that bulky, he's like more prone to getting O-code and all that. I don't know. This team definitely looks like a singles team. It definitely looks like a singles team. definitely. I'm a big believer of Terraladias in this format. So I think Terraladias isn't that bad. But the sand mode is kind of like, because you have the sand mode for speed control, right? Like you have this guy for speed control. You have this kind of speed control. You have this guy, right? So then you're probably not going to run speed control Latias. It's probably going to do Calm Mind, right? But then your trick room is so like, with this. I guess you can do anti trick room with hands, but like the hands in Sylveon. But I feel like the way you drafted it, you intended for the Chandelure to click trick room. It looks like it's intended to, but maybe it's anti trick room. For these two. Anything else I'm looking at for this team? Is there any key resist you're missing? Looks fine. Like Rock is like whatever because you have hands. Doesn't look like it. The fairy is like whatever. But because you have the Shandy, that might be annoying. I don't know. I think these guys aren't that bringable to games. The top 7 are. The only issue is the clicking TR with the Shandy. And outside of sand, right? If you don't bring the sand, which would be 1 and 2, then like, what is your team if you don't bring sand? If you don't bring Excadrill or T-Tar to a game, so what would you bring? Hands, Bundle, Lottie, Sylveon, or Chandelure? Yeah, that would be really annoying. If sand has a bad matchup, that looks really annoying for you. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I would have liked an Oranguru on this team. Look, I think Oranguru's kind of heat. Maybe I'm tripping with that one. Oranguru would be kind of heat with the Sylveon, the T-Tar, and the Iron Hands, because then you have that like instruct. Can't get faked out. Generally pretty, and it has the telepathy too, so Excadrill can click EQ next to it. So it doesn't get in the way of Exca. So you could do like so you could do like a Trick Room Sand mode. So you could do like a Oranguru, Iron Hands, T-Tar, Drill, right? And if Drill ends up coming in, like right when your Trick Room's about to end, right? You bring Drill in, Trick Room's up, Sand's up still. You could click Earthquake free. And that's the other issue with this team, is you're not going to be want to click an Earthquake unless you're next to Lottie. Which is fine, because Drill has HHP in this gen. But, you do want to click Earthquake. Versus a lot of these teams, you're going to be wanting to click Earthquake. For sure. Next is E-Manor. I hope I said that right as well. Alright. Now, this is a team. For sure. I had to do a double take here because I thought I missed like an Indeedee. I didn't miss an Indeedee. Yeah, you need Indeedee on this team. You really need Indeedee on this team. Like, you can like get rid of like Hat Blastoise and just like maybe grab an Indeedee if it's still there. I don't know. Indeedee might have been taken already, but like if it isn't taken, like yeah, you need Indeedee. I don't know how this team kind of works right now. There's like so much going on. Like you have Scraggy, Venonat, which I don't think are bringable. I don't know what Braviary is gonna do here because it's like a defiant Pokemon, but none of your mons are really weak to Intim specifically, or like even Snarl. Then you have like the random Armor Rouge with like nothing to support. You can't even do like the funny like flip turn stuff unless you do like Scarf Blastoise, which is weird. Unless you like Scarf Water Spout Blastoise or something, and then like you just bring it in next turn. Yeah, this team definitely has a lot of issues. You have the Dusclops, Ursaluna, Blood Moon, right? For the weakness policy. Okay, right? You have that. Cornerstone again, right? So you have the Tailwind support with it. So that's why I'm thinking, like, this team, like, it feels like you got sniped on Indeedee here. But if that was the case, then why didn't you take Indeedee earlier? Was the thing. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like you're definitely missing Indeedee. Oh, man. There's just so much going on with this team. There's a lot of issues with it. Because I'm trying to think about, like, what 4 do you even bring to a game? Without it feeling, like, awkward and clunky. That's the thing. Because, like, I could say what 4 you'd bring, but it's going to feel clunky. Because you could do, like, Moon, Ogerpon, Trick Room, Armarouge, Ursaluna, Blood Moon, right? But then, like, if you're just not positioned correctly, then it's going to feel super awkward. And I feel like that's just, like, bad into most other teams. So, I don't know, man. You just don't have, like, the greatest Trick Room, like, enabler outside of the Ursaluna Blood Moon. Because, like, the Dusclops has to set Trick Room, then what do you do after? Right? That's why I'm thinking, like, you definitely needed Indeedee. I don't think the hat Armarouge are it. I could see an angle here for maybe like Shell Smash Blastoise, Follow Me Ogerpon, and all that. He Follow Me Shell Smash Terra Water Spout. That's kind of heat. Yeah, maybe if you don't like commit to like side spam, I think the Armarouge Hatterini gotta go. Cause like these two are they're like this is like 30 points or something right here. This is just 30 points down the drain. These 5 are like fine, right? These 5 aren't the worst, but these 2 without the psychic terrain, the side spam, because these guys are side spam taxed, right? They're E-Force taxed. So the fact that you don't have E-Force with either of these guys who are taxed on E-Force, you're just like point sinking. So like I think you should just either like drop one of them, or like just take them both and then turn them into like 2 better Pokemon. All right, and then next is Zero. I think I actually really liked Zero's team last time I looked. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so this is the other Ogerpon Wellspring Florges team. Yeah, I liked this team. Well, like the Tailwind is like whatever. This team doesn't have Tailwind, which like it would like Tailwind. Like you have Fletchling, but dude, you're not like benching any of your like top 9 for Fletchling is kind of like trolling. Like no offense, kind of like trolling unless like T-Wind is super good. But like Ogerpon Raikou Lando is like really good, and then Raikou has like Howl support for like Metagross, Lando, Wellspring. Yes, screens. I'm a big Raikou believer. That's why I really like that pick. You have the Fake Out, Snarl. You have other shenanigans with the Persian right there. Decent speed control. It's definitely just the Tailwind thing. Your Trick Room angle's okay. It's Spiritomb, right? So it's like I feel like this is definitely like that Ogerpon, so it's gonna be like Ogerpon, Lando meta, right? And then what else are you bringing for the week? Probably Raikou, and then you might get like that Emboar Dragalge or like that Emboar Spiritomb kind of angle. This is a good team overall. I think this is a decent team. I think this is pretty well built. There's not too much I could complain about here overall. All right, let me make sure. Anything crazy? All right. now for iPet Bigfoot's team. I actually like what he has going here. The one odd out pick is the Clefable and the Vivillon. I don't really see the vision behind that. Because like maybe you wanted the T-Win setter in Vivillon. I'm not exactly sure why you had picked it up though, because like it doesn't help your ground weakness, right? I mean, like Lando's like your best option, right? And then you have Ogerpon, which is kind of like, ugh. And it makes that flying weakness way worse. For what it is, though, you do Iron Boulder. Iron Boulder is broken because he's basically Mega Soul Rock. I mean, essentially like a Soul Rock mixed up for Shifu, right? Because he just goes to Protect. I would actually really have liked. You made the right choice with the Lanleo and the Scrafty, because those are like 2 Pokemon that kind of like force out Protect with the Iron Boulder, right? I don't mind Palafin here. I wish you had a bulkier mon that wasn't just the Clefable Scrafty. Because you don't want, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to flip turn with Palafin into like your Iron Boulder or your Lando, and then they just die. You know what I mean? Because Palafin's also like your water resist. So if somebody's really feeling themselves, what they'll do is they'll see the Palafin out on the field on lead, right? They'll just click a water move into it, or even a steel move, right? And then guaranteed they catch Clefable or Iron Boulder, they're in such a good spot. If they catch Iron Boulder, you're done by that point, right? And if they catch Clefable, great. I mean, they could also catch the Scrafty too, which would probably be your immediate switch. I do like Scrafty. Blaziken's okay. I don't really know what he does in VGC. I feel like he would have benefited from like a Typhlosion, like the Typhlosion Hisu, because like your team is really physical oriented. It's a 1, 2, 3, right? 4. I think this Vivillon can go for like literally anything else. Literally, you just get like a better T-Wingmon. I think Vivillon's issue is like it's so prone to just dying so easily. I believe it has shield dust and like sleep powder and all that, so it's not the worst thing. But like you have like 3 redirect, we already have like 3 redirectors, right? And I get it. So like you could probably get the hero form on Palafin right away. But yeah, I feel like you get rid of Blaziken. I don't think it adds anything to your team. I think you should get like a Typhlosion instead. I know I said that to like 100 people. But like it's just like a better mon. Like any like specially offensive Firemon with Heat Wave. You want that. You want that, right? That'll work. Or even a Bulky Fire. Bulky Fire would be great here. Because you don't have a Fairy Resist. That's the other thing. You don't have a Fairy Resist. D-Gleam, like Fluttermane, comes in versus your team. It goes so hard. You have to Terra into a Fairy Resist. And that's the main thing. Because Berserker's not the greatest. Like, can you actually think about yourself bringing Berserker to most games? Because you want to bring your Ogerpon, you want to bring Boulder, you definitely want to bring Lando, right? All right, so then what you want to bench one of like the other guys here, or one of these guys, just to bring the Berserker, and Berserker's not even that great, right? So like honestly, you could trade in this Vivillon and the Blaziken for just like just a better fire. It probably like, is there a poison? Is there a poison or a steel with T-Wing? Not Corviknight. Not Corviknight. I don't think Corviknight would be it. I wouldn't like maybe Corviknight could work, but I don't really like it that much here. In all honesty, you could have done like a Palance route. It just got like an Amoonguss. That would have been fine if Amoonguss is still there. I don't know if it is. Probably not. In all honesty, that's the other thing that Palafin really likes those like bulky mons. Yeah, you definitely want that Fairy Resist. That's the main thing. The other thing that would be nice with that Typhlosion is it forces out Protect. Like Scarf forces out Protect, and you got like Boulder, you just hit through to Protect. See, like that's even like better, like even more synergy right there. I do like the Ogerpon because like if they try to intim Boulder, you don't gotta worry about it. Because if you have your Ogerpon on the field, right, you could follow you like be doing anything for like follow me, SD, booster energy, and all that, and then you don't have a booster energy contention slot, which was good on you for that. It's only the Boulder. But yeah, definitely get rid of Vivillon. Yeah, I guess you could keep it. I don't know what it does, but you could keep it. But get rid of this guy for like an actual fire type because you need the Fairy Resist. Like you really, really need the Fairy Resist, and then you probably want a better T-Win setter than Vivillon. I don't think this guy's it. That would be it though. I definitely see you have definitely a good offensive core here with like okay defensive. Berserker's like whatever, but like these two guys aren't the worst. You just need that like Fairy Resist because yeah, you say you don't have much. Dragons and Ghost are really scary too. Your team is missing a couple key resistances. So like look into these right here because Ghost types are also really scary. Again, Fluttermane does destroy your team. I believe I don't know if a Regidrago was drafted in your div. I saw a couple like really strong dragons were going around, which is also really scary into your team. But because you have Ogerpon, so people are gonna want to Terra Dragon. You have Palafin, so people also are naturally gonna Terra Dragon. Right? People also might want to Terra Grass versus your team because you have Lando, Ogerpon, Palafin, and the Iron Boulder. So, that does go kind of hard versus your team, which is why I also, again, get that fire type, like a bringable fire type. A bringable fire type. That's not Blaziken. I don't think Blaziken's bringable. But, yeah, that fire type would help out a lot. In this regard, maybe consider the Vivillon maybe for a normal type. Even like a Mandibuzz would go kind of far because at least it's a Ghost Resist. They just add another Fairy weakness though. And then next is are you the last one here? No, there should be one more, right? Whose team is this? This is Slick's team. I didn't write his name down. I'm sorry, Slick. All right, so this is Piranha Plant team number 2. All right. I like what this team kind of had going for it. So you got the Shifugoth classic, decent T-win mode. Okra says Azu here. Azu's not that bad. Not that bad supported. I'm not the biggest believer of Toad's Cruel. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know what that guy does. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's that good. Maybe he'll be a gas pick this season. We'll see. We'll see if he'll be a gas. Hydrapple, I'm excited to see. I haven't seen that much of Hydrapple overall. I've only really seen him on those Contrary Malamar teams, which I thought were really gimmicky. Those kind of teams, I believe I saw a couple. I saw one of them on like this game center thing. It was like I think it was like Flutter, Shifu, Malamar, Hydrapple, something like that. Basically, the strat is you swap Contrary onto your Hydrapple, who's AV, Terra Poison, and you kind of just go hard with it. I think this is another team where Azu kind of like has to like pick up some of the weight here and all that. But wait, Azu's great here. Azu's great here. I do like Toadscrow for one thing. It kind of forces goggles, right? And if someone's not paying attention in prep, because like you got to prep for the damn Shifu Goth Torn, right? And then the Heatran Thundi, so people are gonna want AV. You know what I mean? The Hydrapples up, people are gonna want AV. And you're gonna probably want like convert Cloak and Clear Amulet to not get your stat dropped by Icy Wind from Torn and the Frost Lass. You know, that kind of stuff. So like I could see the Toadscrow kind of working and being like kind of sneaky. And he's coming in with that Spore and stuff, and then the alternative Trick Room and all that. I just don't like the fact that adds that I feel Toadscrow's so weird because like I hate it as a Trick Room setter. I just don't like it as a Trick Room setter. It's because its ability is so bad. God, man, they had to give Toadscrow one of the worst abilities. I think I think it's on par with that slow start with how bad it is. Like I get like 100 speed Spore would be like broken. But damn, man, it's so often using Toadscrow, you're gonna forget that your Spore is gonna go last in priority, right? You'll just not be in your head for a second, and then you click Spore, and then when your Toadscrow moves last, you're like, wait, what happened? Oh my god, I forgot about my ability. Yeah, those are the real kicker moments right there, man. Unless you like skill swap, you know what you could do? You could skill swap it with your Goth. Give that guy Shadow Tag. He goes kind of crazy with Shadow Tag. That would be kind of sick. That would be kind of sick. How to make Toadscrow viable. I think Frost Lass is kind of gas. It was pretty cheap. I think it was like 6 points. I think it's pretty gas for what it does here. I think it's a pretty decent team overall. What would this team immediately struggle with? So you have Tran to kill the fairies. I feel like people are still gonna go Terra Fairy versus your team though. I don't think Heatran's gonna be enough of a stopper for it, just for like because you have Hydrapple and your Shifu. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be the main thing people are gonna be prepping for, that Shifu Goth, right? So I still think people are gonna bring the Terra Fairy versus you, unfortunately. And you know, Heatran is the only fairy resist on this team. So that's something you're gonna have to keep in mind when prepping. Overall, though, your composition isn't bad. It would just be your prep per week. I think that's going to be what's going to make or break you here. Being able to have that prep and execute it very well. Because, you know, you could just, like, do Torn Shifu... not Torn Shifu, I'm sorry. Shifu Goth. But, like, if you don't know how to use Shifu Goth, and then you just let your Shifu die randomly to, like, something stupid, like, I've teched on, like Terra Blast Covert Cloak on, like, a random, like, fast Pokemon to just, like, hit the Shifu and just kill it turn 1. As the Goth faked out that slot. I think it was a Meowstic male or something like that one time, and I just killed the Shifu turn 1, right? And in cases like that, that's something you're just gonna have to watch out for. That's gonna be really, really annoying for you. But overall, I do like. I really like the Torn here. I think Torn is great. Torn definitely enables all these guys. I just wish your Trick Room setters wasn't like, ugh. Goth isn't that bad of a Trick Room setter for what it is. The Trick Room mode might be a little bit awkward, the pilot, because you gotta get up to Trick Room. Like, I wouldn't know what you would need to get out Trick Room like right away. Maybe like you probably just do like Heatran Goth That'll probably be fine. And just like protect Trick Room. Just like don't get taunted. Is there anything else overall go over with this team? It should be fine. I think speed control's great. Speed control is the strongest aspect of this team for sure. And you have like those obvious modes, of course, because you have 1, 2, 3 for speed control, all really solid. This guy got Trick Room. You got Trick Room. Anything else? No, I'm pretty content with this team. This is a good team. I think Slick can do very well with this team. Slick is a good player and he has great fundamentals. He just has to convert those to VGC, and I think he'll do fine. All right, and then next is the new coach. New to draft is Burb here. All right. Oh, this is where the Ndidi went? Is this the guy who sniped Ndidi? I think there was a team earlier that needed the Ndidi. I think this is where the Ndidi went. I don't think there's a size spam mom on here, though. Unless these two get an E-Force. Yeah, all right. So, immediately with this team, you're missing key types. You're missing a water type. That's really big. You're also missing a steel type. That's also really, really pretty big that you're missing. Water and steel. We can go right down here to see you have no normal resist, 1 fire resist, 1 water resist, right? Ground goes insanely hard versus your team. No flying resist, right? One rock resist. Ghost goes insane. Dark is really scary too. And the worst part about Dark is Snarl, right? Maybe people I have Enam. Well, no, because Enam's not immune to Snarl. Which really sucks for it. I can see what you were doing here. I think you were trying to. I remember. You're trying to drop the Ndidi for. What was it? Oh, you're trying to drop it for Crest. Yeah. No, that Crest would have been infinitely better than Ndidi here because nothing really actively benefits from Ndidi. And then because you have like Heartflame, hard Trick Room. I don't see how your team does outside of Trick Room. Like if you just can't get up Trick Room somehow, I mean you probably should be able to. But like I feel like there's like some anti-synergy here. Like you have like the Goth and Ndidi. It's like why? You know what I mean? So it's like what are those two doing together, right? Like I guess you have like Goth Heartflame. I guess that's something. Maybe you just got the Gothitelle because you saw other people were talking about how cheap it is and that it's a steal, and so you took it. I'm not too sure why you had gotten Goth. I'm not too sure why you got G-Bro either. Especially after Ndidi, you got 3 psychic types. I am not too sure why these guys are on this team. I think this should have just been Crest. In all honesty, this should have been Crest. If you had these guys plus Crest, this would have been pretty solid. And then you just like fill it up with some of those like chlorophyll sun guys, and you just like sunroom. That probably would have been fine. This is not like sunroom. This is just like hard trick room plus sun. You're definitely missing a lot on this team, and I would definitely look into like filling out some of these resistances because like, if you I don't know how like if you play Chiyu, how do you beat Chiyu? Yeah, how do you beat Chiyu? How do you beat Lando I? You just struggle so much with those like really really strong, like just hit your opponent Pokemon. Those guys, and because your team is slow too, you don't really have Ogerpon to deal with those guys unless you run like. Unless you run like I don't even know. Does Scarf Ursaluna? Probably Scarf Ursaluna might outspeed them at level 50, but like that would be what you would have to do to not lose to those guys like on lead, right? But then you're running like Scarf Ursaluna in your Trick Room team. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of work that needs to be done here for this team overall. I think like the Enam isn't terrible. I think the Enam is overkill. I think this guy's kind of overkill for the Trick Room mode, right? If you were to like change these, I think there's a Rangaroo, which you could have gotten over Crest, right? Because I remember, I think I said your transaction was illegal because you had 8 Pokemon, but then you could have just took a Rangaroo. And that probably would have worked out pretty well, and you just would have dropped off like these 2 psychic types for your type chart, right? It might have been a little bit better. You definitely got to work on your speed tiers too, because like if I'm playing your team, yeah, all my Pokemon are finna have like max HP, which isn't good because you don't want your Heartflame to miss KOs. Because if you don't kill something and then they just kill your Heartflame back, well then you're like, oh, all right, well how do I win my game from here? Oh, for what it is your first draft. I believe it is your first draft, right? So you definitely had the right idea. You had somewhat of the right idea with the Ursaluna Torkoal Trick Room mode. I think you should have wheeled it back a little bit and then gotten one of those levitate or telepathy trick room setters, right? Mostly the Crescent Rangaroo, and I think that the triple, well, it does sound like a good idea. This is a misconception a lot of people make. People get like in singles, they'll get like Torkoal Chi-Yu, right? Like the issue is in Sun, Chi-Yu doesn't need that Sun, right? And Sun doesn't need Chi-Yu. So now you're bringing two fire types to a game, right? And your type stacking, which now makes you more weaker to those types. And then you got to fill out that type chart resistance kind of thing. It's the same thing here with the triple psychic types. You don't exactly have the strongest E-Force users. Like these two guys aren't the best. Like, in all honesty, you could have gotten Armor Rouge. I believe E Manor was in your div. He has the Armor Rouge. I believe he has it, right? And maybe that was a snipe, the Armor Rouge. Maybe you two sniped each other or something. But I don't know what happened on that one, right? Maybe something happened, like he took Armor Rouge first, and then you took the Indeedee, or you took Indeedee and then he took Armor Rouge. Whichever it was, that, basically whatever you two have the Pokemon that the other person wants. Like, genuinely, like you got the other guy that guy wants. It's like that Spider-Man pointing meme. But yeah, these two psychics, they don't really work. Like who would have been really cool for your team? Iron Crown. I'm sure he's gone because he's a new. Actually, I don't know. Have I seen an Iron Crown? I don't think I've seen an Iron Crown yet. Maybe he'll be on one of the later teams. But like, Iron Crown would have worked out really well because he would have gave you some resistances that you needed. And he's an E-Force size Spammon, and he'd be a faster guy too who could work out. So yeah, definitely drop off these two psychic types and like get rid of these guys. You don't need these guys. I saw you were talking about how like good Lurantis is. I think Lurantis is a good mod. I don't think it fits on this team. You already have a really solid Trick Room mode. Lurantis doesn't add to it. This is overkill. These four are overkill for the Trick Room mode. You only need 1, 2 for any Trick Room mode. Any given Trick Room mode, you only need 1 and 2. You will not need anything else. These two together will single-handedly never have a bad matchup. I could probably only think of like one, and it's like what is it? Like a Mudsdale, right? Like a plus, I don't know, like a +2 Mudsdale in like Trick Room, and he's like AV or something, and like a fire resist, and now you'd be struggling with it, right? But like other than that, like, you know what I mean? In most cases, you're not gonna be struggling versus these other guys. I think that's what I'm saying. These four are overkill, and you should look into swapping them out for some to fill out your type chart. Those are things that you need here. But it's okay. It's your first draft. I understand. And next is Fernanch. I hope I said that right. This would be the second time in a row I'd be messing it up. All right. Oh, this is the Whimsicott Annihilate team. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is broken. This is so good. This is so good. This is like Annihilate's dream team. This is like everything Annihilate could have wished for. He has Whimsicott, Tailwind support, plus Screeze, plus healing, and you have like 2 different setup win cons. Yo, thank God nobody drafted. Yo, that Dozogiri Unaware team goes kind of crazy versus you. I don't know how you're gonna win that one. I don't know how you're gonna win that one. Unaware kind of fucks up your whole shit. I think this is a good team. I like this team. I think for an Annihilate team, this team works out. Your flying resist is really bad. Your flying resist is really bad. But like everything else is pretty fine. It's not the worst. This is definitely a top 6 team because I don't think these guys will come. Oh, we got the Revavroom for the Dozogiri matchup. Oh my god. D-Knight and Revavroom have A's. Dude, the Dozogiri matchup is solved. I didn't even realize it. I'm a fool. Alright, this is a good team. I like this team. I like it a lot. I'd use this. This looks so fun to use. This looks really fun. I like it. I like what you cook. I like what you cook in here. This is the Annihilate team. If you showed me this team, you showed me like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd have been like, yeah, that seems like a really annoying to prep for. Then you got D-Knight Volk, who are like other 2 good setup mons. Or D-Knight can just be a breaker, which is the best part about D-Knight. You just like throw on a choice band and you just start hitting. Or you can run like Inner Focus even, because people aren't gonna bring Intimidate versus you because you have Annihilate. which is great. So you can just run like multi-scale DD, and it's gonna be so annoying. And it can run mixed too. Oh no, I like this team. I like it. I like it. This looks so fun. All right, now the last one. Ooh, this is a. Huh. I see what you were cooking here. See, this was the right angle. This was the right angle. See, you didn't get the okay. Well, Galate has Trick Room, but you're never gonna click it. But see, you got the right angle here. That you just focused on your Tailwind mode here, and then you got the 2 anti-Trick Room months, which are really good. Thorlax, Among Us are great anti-Trick Room months, and then you have your Tailwind mode. This is fun. This is a fine team overall. Is there any key weaknesses that we're gonna be looking for here? Looks fine. Psychic looks scary, but you have 2 dark types. Nah. It would just be dragon because you don't have a fairy. Whether dragon spam could be annoying. I think it's a decent Golden Go team though. You have Rage Powder, Amoongus, Nasty Plot up. Then you can bring in Torrent, T-Win, what's in front of you. You got the Sunny Day mode for Walk and Wake, which is not that bad. Manual Sunny Day, of course. We can go kind of hard. I love Harkonine. Great mon overall. Decent on this team. This is a decent team. Good team. I like it overall. Would there be any inherent flaws? You got what? Firewater, Grass. You're missing Fairy. You got a Steel. No, it looks fine. I can't notice anything inherent. The only thing that kind of sucks is like this. Like your T-Win abusers are all like the same speed tier. So like in that like T-Win Ditto, you might have to be relying on like Wake more because it's faster. So let's say like that. What would be? Oh, I'm trying to remember. So let's say like that Torn T team. Let's say like Slicks T, a Torn T team, right? If he gets up Tailwind versus your Tailwind, now Shifu is outspeeding your entire team, which would be really annoying for you. Because your Dark Resist is Crocodile plus Shiftry. So now you're gonna have to Terra Fairy. You know what I mean? That would be that Terra Fairy Golden Go game. Right? So versus other Tailwind, you might struggle a bit, and that's probably where you would want that Trick Room tech. So you probably could get rid of Shiftry for maybe that Trick Room mode, because Golden Go Harkonine actually don't mind playing in Trick Room that much. I've seen them work on Tail Room teams, especially versus opposing Tailwind, where they're not going to work out because they want to be outspeeding the other guys. But overall, very solid team. I like how you have the anti-Trick Room here, and then your main Tailwind mode. Shiftry, Cockrock are like whatever. I'm pretty sure Shiftry's like 4 points or something. So it's gonna be kind of hard if you're gonna ever like move these guys around and stuff. But like you could definitely play around with like these last 3. These last 3 you could definitely play around with. This top 6, super solid. Overall, I mean, I didn't have too much negative to say about most of these teams. Again, I'm not gonna be sitting here trying to shit on all the Explorer teams and all that, because I understand a lot of people here are new, or they're just new to VGC and might not know. Overall, I think majority of the teams are very decent. For first-time drafters for VGC, or people who are just out down here for fun, right? You know what I mean? So definitely solid overall. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. No, I will not fix your draft for you. Do not ask me to fix your draft. Please. I already have like 30 people in my DMs who do that. Please don't add. Please don't add more. I'm begging you, please. But if you guys do want to see an actual ranking of the all 24 coaches, I wouldn't mind. Just let me know, and if you guys want to see it. Yeah. That'll be all for the Explorer. Going over the Explorer teams. Thank you so much, guys, for playing in the season. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you. Hello, WBG Raider coaches. This is going to be your PRs. All right, so we're going to go from number 16 down. Just keep in mind, this is my personal opinion. Not everything I say is necessarily fact, and please take all this with a grain of salt. Please don't attack me afterwards. Again, it's my opinion. You could just say, "Oh, you're wrong," LOL, and then we could just go on with that, right? Again, we hit that threshold. We hit it pretty quickly, so I'll be doing the PRs here. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. As you can see, we have the 16 through 7 here, and then this is just going to be top 6. So we're going to start here with number 16. Number 16 here is going to be, I believe you say it like Uxo Wave. Uxo, Auto, however you say it. So this is his team. This is definitely feels like just a conglomeration of Pokemon. You got a couple new guys. I'll say that. You did get some new guys. That's what that looks like. You know, you just saw like some new guys be like, oh, Sinistra, Raging Bolt, Iron Crown, they look really cool. And so then you just grabbed them. Yeah. The other issue is like, see, you have to Size Spam. I'll give you that. You have to Size Spam. I don't think Raging Bolt or Instant are gonna work with that Size Spam, but like it's okay because you have modes outside of that. Like your Tailwind also isn't good. Like there's a lot wrong with it. The missing Tailwind, the resistances don't actually look that bad. I give you that. Defensively, it doesn't look that bad resistance wise, but like you're missing a lot of things. Also, like the one big thing, Snarl kind of destroys your team. Like a fast dark type just comes in, clicks Snarl versus your Size Spam mode, and if you aren't like Policy Iron Crown, it's really tough. And then with that Size Spam too, if you do die early and then you have like Instant or Raging Bolt in the back, it's gonna put you in kind of like an awkward spot. Because like you don't have that immediate speed to help either of them out. Because like Raging Bolt really likes Tailwind, right? It likes to be in Tail Room teams, but your Tailwind's Articuno, which isn't great. It's not that great at all. Like Prim's okay. It definitely works in the Trick Room, and I think Sinistra is nice with the Raging Bolt and the Instant because both of them run like bulky. They like the healing and all that. But then you have like 3 Paradox Mons. You have Bolt and Iron Crown who both want the booster. Slither doesn't need it as much. I don't know why Slither's here, though. It does add to the team because it's a physical attacker, but I feel like this has like that 4th man syndrome. Not my bad, 5th man syndrome. I don't think this mon's gonna come to many games. Just like because like you're gonna bring Articuno and DD over it every time because you're either gonna want that Tailwind or you're gonna want that the E-Force for the Iron Crown. I think it's definitely like the speed control and just how like clustered this team's speed feels. But like I get it, you saw new mods and you drafted them, so it should be fun. I hope you I hope you have a lot of fun with the Raging Bolt and Iron Crown. They both look really, really cool. I want to try Raging Bolt for myself. He looks awesome in draft. That's definitely a guy on my 2 draft list for sure. Next up is Staraptor OP. They did get points for the mascot pick, but yeah, this is just a little bit too much rain to handle. I don't really know what this team does outside of rain. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like Pelipper has to be brought every game because I don't know what you're really doing outside of the rain here. Like you have like so you got the Urshifu plus the 2 fake out mons, and then you got like Dundee Bundle, which is not bad. They all benefit from that Pelipper, which that's why I'm saying like that Pelipper kind of is like the crutch of this team. It can definitely work outside of it, of course, because you got like the bundle to kill like grass and waters. Shifu. You know what I mean? Dundee's good. Tinkaton and Iron Hand. Hariyama could be decent. Fake out and all that. They could do other things. Like Tinkaton could just smack what's in front of it, own tempo, SD, encore, and all that. So Tinkaton definitely has usage. I think these top 5 have to come every game. Shifu, Bundle, Pelipper, Dundee, Tinkaton, and then that's kind of leaving you just like these guys are never coming. Like these 3, nah. I don't think they'll ever be together. Maybe to ride on like a game that you want Lightning Rod or something. And like I don't see Staraptor ever hitting the field. But yeah, it's the nature of it being like a rain team. Like all the electric weaknesses, rock weaknesses, and all that kind of stuff. That's just like how it's gonna be. Again, I rated it low because I think it's just like I feel like so how I rate weather teams is I feel like if you rely too much on your weather, I rate it a little lower because I don't think that's very flexible. Because when you fight those prankster teams, like there's a lot of prankster mons going around right now. They'll just take away your weather, and now you're up a creek with no paddle because it's a losing battle. Let's say you play like an Ilumise, they click Sunny Day versus Shifu Pelipper. Well, now you're like, okay, well now what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like that Ilumise is gonna about to wall your entire team because you're gonna miss Hurricane unless you're an Air Slash. But yeah, it's just the nature of it being like kind of like hard rain with like nothing else really going for it other than like the Shifu Fake out. I see what you're going for. I see what you were going for. With all the fake out and all that. You needed Goff. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. You needed Goff on this. Like, I would have rated it a lot higher if it had Goff. Like, if Hariyama was Goff, it would have been higher. No, honestly, because I don't think you needed the other fighting. You needed the Trick Room answer. I'll give you that. The Trick Room aspect of it isn't bad, but you know, your setter is this guy. Your setter is this guy. If this was Goff, and then you got like a Trick Room on, like Raid Room, it probably would have been higher. It probably would have been a lot higher. Next up is this is Ace. The other Ace. There's like 3 Aces, I think. This is Ace's team. Another one of these teams where I'm kind of like, well, what are you doing, here? Like, I was kind of trying to like figure out like what this team was doing. I'm not too sure. I rated it really low because this team is an Urshifu single team that doesn't beat fairies that well. Like, you have Archelodon and like that's it. Yeah, you have Archelodon and like that's it. The screen to Archelodon works. I can see the Grimstone Archelodon pick working into each other. I don't think the rest of the team works off each other that well. There's a lot going on. Like, you have Dustclaws Rhyperior, right? You have these 2 guys. I'm guessing you have the Tailwind for for this guy. Then you have Screens, right, which works for Archelodon. So what is it, like 2, 2, 2? Right? But like, I feel like this team's gonna feel so clunky and builder. And it's just so fairy weak too. That's the other thing. It just feels so very weak. I rated it really low. Like, yeah, because your fairy resist is Pyroar. Like, that's just like the main thing. It's just the Pyro fairy resist. And like, your fighting resist isn't great either. It is Elu. It is not the Elu. I'm sorry. This is a Volbeat, and then the Articuno Galar. Now, I could have raised this up points a little more if you had like a good Pokemon to like Tail Glow Baton Pass into, but you don't really have anything too amazing. It's like probably Archelodon's probably your best bet. Oh, I feel like the Volbeat's gonna die before it can get that off though, or when you're gonna get it off, Archelodon might die on the switch in. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you just needed to be able to beat fairies better. Like, you have to Terra to beat fairies, which is annoying. Yeah, I don't know. Articuno feels so weird here too because your team's not weak to like stat drops or anything because you're Shifu. Definitely a lot of weird picks here. Next up is Cobra. I know the reason why he has this team. So I'll keep that short. I will say the reason it is low again is I feel like this team is too reliant on the sun. I feel like it really needs the Sun Elu to work, and I would have liked if he had had a Ninetales on here. But then if he had Ninetales, it would make the team way too ground weak. For what it is, I know why he has Fracture. It's because of the Golden Go mode with Terra Dragon, Dragon Cheer, and all that gimmick. Right, that's really cool. He's Tailwind with Wake, Anti Trick Room here. Rotom was actually a decent defensive pick for this team, but again, the nature of it being like a sunny-ish team is, these guys. Just the Wake is the big one. The Tusk doesn't need it, so the Tusk can actually function here without So Tusk can function without Sun. I don't know if Wake can function that much without the Sun, which is the really sucky part about Wake. I think he is not that bad of a team overall. I think this team could definitely like function and work. It's definitely very reliant on this Elu. This Elu Mise and the Fezandipity are kind of like the make or break for this team with their speed control. For sure, these two are like the make or break. Rotom is not that bad defensively because he has screens and E-webs and all that kind of nice stuff. It's really nice with the Great Tusk. These two together, and then you have the Mungus too. 1, 2, 3. These guys are good together. But yeah, I feel like that's gonna really be the thing that make or breaks this team overall. The lack of a Ghost Resist is also kind of a point against it. There aren't too many very strong Ghost types in the tier, but that is something to note. There is no Ghost Resist here. Overall, it's not a bad team. This team can definitely get wins, but it's just the nature of it being like a weak team that there's a lot of things that go against Wake in draft. The main thing being that it is a Sunmon, and it needs Sun to function. And either you're getting Prankster Sun, right, which then you have to tailor your draft to be specific with it, or you need that Sunsetter, which then you might be more weak on the ground side with the Golden Go. I really like Golden Go with those fast Tailwind mons. I'm not really too big of a fan of it with the Elu and the Volbeat because they can't like you can't like helping hand it. Oh, with these guys. So then your next best thing is like the fake tears and encore and all that kind of stuff. So like T Flame, I think T Flame Golden Go is really good. Torn T Golden Go, Moonscott Golden Go, all those like really fast guys really benefit with him because they also give you that speed tier because you see that the speed tier right here stops at 109, which means like versus other T1 teams it might not be ideal. So then versus other T1 teams you'd have to bring Fez and Dippity with the Tailwind and Icy Wind, which again might not be ideal. It's not a bad team though. Not a bad team. This team could definitely win games. Definitely win games. Looks very fun to use though. I will say that. All right, next up is AC, and AC has a similar issue. There is one thing I see the vision here with this, but the issue is your max speed is Ogerpon Heartflame. That is really, really bad. That's really bad. And then your speed control is Murkrow. Like, I'm a Murkrow hater. I'm sorry. I'm a Murkrow hater. I'm not a believer, but like, your speed control is Murkrow. So like, Murkrow is gonna have to come to like majority of games. That's kind of the issue. That's kind of the issue. You got to bring Murkrow to multiple games. Like if it was like a Zapdos or something, I wouldn't have batted an eye. I would have said, "Oh yeah, this team's really good." But like the fact that you have to bring Murkrow to multiple games, like Murkrow's like a good Laddermon. Don't get me wrong, it was like a good Laddermon when those with Gyarados everywhere. Because then you just see Team those with Gyarados with haste. But like imagine like you have to bring like your 6, right? You have to bring your 6, and then included in your 6 is Murkrow. So then now you're benching either this guy, right? This guy, right? Or like you gotta bench one of them, right? And you want to bring 1, 2, 3, 4, and this because they're really strong with the Farigiraf. But then Murkrow only benefits 1, 2, 3, and like Murkrow's not the greatest. I guess you could play with the Gambit and the Sylveon and Tailwind, but like I don't know, man. I feel like again, this is the case where that should have been one of those 120 base speed Tailwind mons, and then you just got so much more mileage out of those guys than the Prankster T-Wind. Like I get it. Like Whimsicott is like the best Prankster T-Wind mon, but like I don't know. I feel like you could get away with the 120 speed guys like Noivern, T-Flame. I think there's another guy. I can't remember him off the top of my head. Oh, Rabombi. Yeah, Rabombi too. But like, you could get away with those guys. Or even Kilowattrel. Kilowattrel would actually have worked here over the Electivire. Yeah, he would have worked really well, actually. I would have messed with Kilowattrel on this. There's a couple things, too. Like, your Fairy Resist isn't great. It's only Heart Flame. Your Poison Resist is like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, people might act like Sludge Wave is like a bringable versus you. Other stuff like that. You don't have a ground. You don't have a ground type, so like other like electric types can go kind of hard versus you. Other stuff like that. There's quite a few issues with this. I think the main one is Murkrow, but there's a couple other things. I do like Regidrago Gambit. I do like this combo. Because like you force the Terra Fairy with the Regidrago, the Terra Steel, then you have 1, 2 to kind of bully those Terras. Really nice. And then Sylveon kind of reinforces that Terra Steel, and then you can bully it with these guys. All right, next up is 11, which is Chris Reed. Now, Chris Reed's team, I was looking at it for a while, and there was something that was just like off-putting to me about it, and it wasn't the round 1 Torrentee, even though, I did think that was round 1 pick 1 Torrentee. I did think that was like, wow, at first, but that wasn't the main reason I put it so low. I feel like this team really relies on Iron Boulder to be him. Like, if like outside of Iron Boulder, this team just feels underwhelming. It's missing that like oomph, you know what I mean? Just like that like power. It's some of these other teams have that. I believe it's the next one. It might be the next one or the other one after that. But like outside of, it just doesn't have it outside of Boulder. And it's like even like that you could coaching your Boulder either. Like you have that Mienshao for that that fake out coaching, right? So like Mienshao forces people to like protect in front of it, of course, and you hit them with Boulder. That's a nasty combo, you know what I mean? But like what do you do outside of that though? Because like, you know what I mean? Like I see you have like a Trick Room mode kind of going on, but like I'm gonna be real with you, I don't think any of these guys would come to most games. Like this really feels like a 6-mon team. It really feels like a 6-mon team. At least that's how it looks like it was built. The Spiritomb, Granbull, Ampharos, I don't think these guys don't feel real enough with these stuff with these six. With these six, they don't. I do like Milo. Of course, I'm a big Milo fan. Hydra's like okay this gen. It's not the best. It's not the worst. I think Boulder. I think in theory Boulder is broken, but we'll have to see because I haven't seen too much in practice. You have great speed tiers. Your speed tiers are great. I will tell you. I will tell you that much. You probably have like some of the best speed tiers in the div. Your fairy resist is a little lacking outside of the Heatran, of course, but it's like it's not the biggest deal. I mean, it's annoying for the Hydra and the Mienshao, but like Milotic and Heatran probably don't care that much. The other thing is your Torn abusers aren't great. You don't have that many Pokemon that like really benefit from that Tailwind. So like you have Boulder, but Boulder can boost their speed and outspeed most things. So then your benefit from Tailwind are Milotic, Heatran, who are bulky enough to live hits anyway, or Hydra, who can set Tailwind itself. And a Mienshao is usually fast enough to outspeed most guys, and it's pretty frail. So your Tailwind abusers aren't amazing either. Like they're okay. They're okay, right? It's not like of course not like a Chi who's also around one, right? Or anything like that, like anything crazy, or like the Heart Flame Terror and all that. Because of course you have what is it like 15 picks have to come back to you. No, that I'm even surprised that you got Boulder. I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't think that guy would come back. That's crazy that he came back. That was really good that you picked up on him. But like, I feel like you don't have that other like Pokemon that really wants the Tailwind or even the Trick Room, right? I feel like your Trick Room you'd like Trick Room more with the Heatran, right? Heatran wants the Trick Room more on this team, but I feel like it's just a 6 team. I don't think it's bad. I think it's just missing that like power that like a lot of these SV guys have. Like those round 1 SV guys. I think when you see it in later rounds, especially like if you're not getting skipped round 1, God forbid you'd ever get skipped round 1. You would see it later on with all the guys who go round 1. So we're talking like both the Shifus, Chi-Yu, Pow, Iron Hands, Flutter, and all that just like straight up like raw power. You know what I mean? You're just like missing that. Next up is this team. I didn't think this team was that bad. There was definitely something really off-putting for me. It was definitely the Corviknight. I think this Corviknight is just like a 13 points down the drain. Because you have Latias, who does everything Corviknight does, except for like Iron Press. But if you're drafting like an Iron Press Steel type, you could have got Skarm, who's 5 points. So I don't know why you have the Corviknight. The other thing is, this feels like a top 5 team. It's like a top 5, then maybe the Concord, Chandy. Because I don't think Corver, Wiggly could probably maybe come to like a game or two. You know, like those if you really think they're gonna bring like Intim or something, but then you have the Ogerpon here. You know what I mean? You have the Defiant one, so like that's gonna like deter any Intim or Snarl or that because they don't want to get swept by it. But like, I like Weavile, I like Lando, I like these guys. This Corv is just the one that's throwing me off so hard. Like, what would you bring to your games too? Right? Because like, if we think about like what 4 you're bringing per game, it's like it has to be Ogerpon, probably one of them, right? You have like Lando and what else? Like Rotom, Lottie in the back, or like maybe Weave. It feels weird. Maybe it's just the Corv. I'm not too sure. I think this team was definitely better than what you had before. I know you made Grace transactions. I don't remember which other team was, but I know I really didn't like it. But I think I actually like the Conk though. Conk is him. This guy is super gas. He works in both Tailwind and Trick Room. Oh, the issue is your Trick Room, right? Your Trick Room is Chandelure. So you're never actually going to ever click it for the Conk, which is like fine because your team wants to play in like a fast mode anyway, right? But like, do you have like these 3? Yeah, these 3 guys want to play more in Trick Room than Tailwind, and then your Trick Room set is Chandelure. So it's kind of like, yeah. No, but Conk is gas though. He's a good anti-Trick Room mode. I think you just get rid of Corv, and I think your team gets a lot better. because Lottie does what Corv does. Shandy's not bad either, though, for what it is. I think Shandy's a fine Pokemon. I think your team leans a little bit too much on the special side with these guys. 1, 2, 3, because then you're probably relying on Ogerpon, Weavile, and Conch, and you're probably going to Terra the Ogerpon more often than not on this team. But like, I feel like some guys that might want to Terra more. Let's do like Latias if you're not a support set. They like a setup set, like those calm mindsets, which are really nasty. You're probably gonna want the Terra more than Ogerpon Teal Mask. The benefit of Teal Mask is that you can run an item, but like it's locked into the Grass Terra, which could be really annoying. I feel like you also kind of wanted a better flying resist with Teal Mask because it's locked into that Grass one. Like you have Rotom, and then the Corv that's not gonna come to game, so it's just Rotom. But Rotom's fine though in most cases. Yeah, I think this is good. These guys, this 7 is good. Just get rid of Corv. Yeah, just get rid of the Corv, and your team's like good. You can see your type charts resistances right here. Oh, this looks good for the most part though. The flying is scary, but it's only because you have the grass locked Ogerpon. Right. Next up is Judah. I moved Judah around like 7 or 8 different times. I had him a lot lower at first. But I kept I was looking around at his team, and I'm like, he actually has that thing that all those teams are missing, which was that. I was talking about all that like power and stuff. He has that. He has that with the Blood Moon and the Gouging Fire. I'm surprised he got picked 9 Gouging Fire. That's really surprising for me. That's kind of crazy. I'm surprised he got the Wellspring Blood Moon. That's a good combo right there. He's a good Tailwind mode with Zapdos and all that. I don't know what Azelf does. Alcremie's like whatever. Registeel's fine. I wish it was like not a setup steel type. Like Registeel's is fair. Like, he's not inherently fairy weak. I'll give him that. He's not inherently fairy weak. However, D-Gleam is very clickable into his team. Like, you have a Flutter main, you just throw it out and just click D-Gleam, because there's no resist other than the Registeel. I guess you could do Terra Fire, Gouging Fire, which is nice. Because that guy is an insane breaker for what it is. Oh man. He had a Duraludon over this, which wasn't helping either. I'll give him that. He definitely did get a Fairy Resist. I don't know what Azelf does. Maybe you can prove to me what Azelf does. I'm not too sure what he does in VGC besides just be like really fast and like run Sash and all that. I see what you're doing with these guys. That's cool. You have that Blood Moon, Dustor. I think Dustor was cheaper, significantly cheaper than Dusclops. But you have that like break kind of stuff. You have okay Trick Room mode in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alcremie can like boost up these guys, which is kind of cool. Zapdos is great support as always. Zapdos is good Gloomon. Blood Moon's okay-ish, right? What was it that you were lacking? Oh, it was Water and Fire Resist. Yeah, these looked really bad. I think it's just because like this is a water immunity, right? But then like your dragon doesn't resist water, so then it's like that. I think who had the rain team again? What's his name? Start after OP, right? Yeah, you kind of get cooked by that rain team. Like you have like no water resist. Oh, you also have like no fire resist outside of like Terraing, Ogerpon, and then the Gouging Fire. So like those really high power stuff could be really annoying for you to deal with defensively. The thing I would actually really like on this team, see, the Azelf can kind of do it, but I don't think it's like bulky enough to do it. It's screens. I think this team really benefits from screens, and I can see the Azelf being like fast screens, right? But it's just gonna like set screens and just like die through the screens because it's just not bulky. It's not bulky enough. Yeah, that would be it though. Like I think this team really benefits from screens. This team loves screens. Now that I'm like looking at it, but your fast screen setter is like what? Let me see. Let me go down. What are your screens? Does this have screens on it? It should. Yeah, there you go. It's Zapdos. Yeah, I don't think Zapdos is ever running screens. It's Azelf. Yeah. It's a little unfortunate. Maybe look into like a different screen setter. I think you have something here. If you could get like a good screen setter, I think you got something here. I think you got something real. Maybe something else over Registeel. Maybe something else. I don't know. I've seen Reggie still do stuff with them, like set up those iron set up iron press sets where it, like solos a team, which is really funny. But maybe you can maybe keep the Reggie still. Maybe keep him. So maybe look into like a different screen setter. But Azelf can work though. Azelf can definitely work. Definitely work. Now I'm gonna put a disclaimer here. 10, 9, 8, and 7 were all super close for me. These four teams all felt like they're super interchangeable. So that's my disclaimer. Next is Septile Sife's team. I like this team. I actually like that. I think there's like one bad pick here, and I think it's the Gothitelle. I think the Gothitelle should have been a Crest, or I think Crest. Well, Crest is too expensive. Probably should have been like an Oranguru. I don't think you need Goth. You have two good fake up mons in these guys. I don't think anything benefits inherently from the shadow tag, and you want to be clicking like spread EQ with like your flame orb and stuff with Ursaluna. I think if you got a Rangaroo, you could do like a lot of nasty stuff with the Rangaroo, like with it like with next to like Flutter Mane, right? And then you like instruct the D-Gleam again, like Scarf Rangaroo, slightly slower than Flutter, Specs Flutter D-Gleam, and instruct it. Could be pretty nasty. That would Harkonine, Ursaluna, and all these other guys would be pretty nasty. I do like Suicune. I like Hark. I like this. I like bulkier teams with Flutter. I think going HO with Flutter is a bad idea because of how frail Flutter is itself. But I think bulkiness with Flutter works really well. So I do like that aspect of your team. In these guys, I think the Spore is nice and the priority as well from Breloom is fine. I don't know if Breloom's going to be that Sash contention with the Flutter, but you might just run Specs Flutter more often than not. Your Fairy Resist aren't great either. It is just a Harkonine. Fortunately, you do have a Flutter. You do have Flutter, but that Enam matchup might be scary. I would definitely look into maybe potentially a Fairy. I don't even know if you could get a Flare Resist. Maybe if you drop the Goth. I do like the Rotom though. I do like Rotom, so it's a little tough. In that regard. One other thing is that in with the Tailwind from Suicune, it's only really Hark and this guy that benefit from it. Breloom to an extent. But I feel like Breloom might just be just clicking Spore the entire time anyway. For what it is, that is something nice though that Breloom forces prep. You have quite a few guys that kind of force prep. This forces Clear Amulet, Cloak, Goggles, Assault Vest, Cloak, all that kind of stuff. Lumberry, Brick Break, all this kind of jazz. Clear Amulet, of course, Cloak. I don't know. People prep for Dugong. Oh, you have the Perish Trap. Oh, I'm seeing it now. I see it now. I'm seeing it now. You're the Perish Trap. That's funny. But I think, I definitely think Goth should be like an Oranguru or something, so that you could just click free EQs with Ursaluna. That'd definitely be really nice. I think this is a good team overall, though. Like I said, 10, 9, 8, and 7 were really, really close for me. I definitely see what this team is cooking, and I'm excited to see how it does this season, for sure. Alright, next is, I believe this is Sizzle and Stomp. Yes, it is. Sizzle and Stomp's team was pretty good. I think out of them, like I said, they're really close. I think it was the best one out of them. It's definitely the Iron Hands Crest that's carrying it. I think this Sizzle and Stomp feels like they have like a 4 Pokemon, 5.5 Pokemon team. I think Impo's good. I haven't seen too much of the Impo. I think it's good in theory. I don't know why you have a Florges. I don't know why you got it. Maybe it was like the best fairy on board. I don't think anything inherently benefits from the Florges on your team for what it is. It's not a bad fairy. They give Bramble, which is like with the T-Flame is funny. It's a gas Bramble heat Bramble gas pick, right? That kind of stuff. Definitely Garchomp benefits more. These guys kind of feel like you're just like picking. Like this is the mascot pick. The PZ Bramble. I don't see the angle. I see like you have it with the T-Flame, right? And I guess you have Empo for the Crest Trick Room mode, right? So this is like Tail Room. But like, and your resistances were good. And your speed control was good too. That's why you were the highest of them. Because you had really good speed control with these guys. Like insane speed control. Right? I wish you just, the one thing is this is like another real Trick Room mon, because the big issue is I feel like your team loses to Trick Room ground types, and that sounds weird because you have a Crescent and Empoleon, but like Iron Hands isn't like the 1v1 the ground types in Trick Room, right? And Crest is super passive. I don't think Empoleon's gonna be like you're bringing Empoleon, you're passing up on like what Chomp or T-Flame, right? In most cases, so I feel like you always your inherent go to is gonna be Iron Hands, Crest, Garchomp, T-Flame, or Iron Hands, Garchomp, T-Flame, Bramblegast, right? Or even like PZ, right? I feel like that's like your inherent go to is. I don't see the Empoleon coming that much to punish those like Terra Grounds and stuff. Or those ground types just kind of like bullying your Iron Hands a little bit. Like Lando I looks scary to play against. But I could see what this team was trying to cook up for the most part. That's why I had it the highest. I definitely think this team good. It's definitely good. It's definitely good. I think I think majority of regulation F teams are good. And it's really hard because all the new mons in the pool when the old mons they added are really good for the most part. There's a couple of stinkers, but all the DLC 2 mons are really good. Like if you actually look at how much the pool increases from like Reg E, it's insane. Even Reg E, right? You go to like Reg D, you add in the 2 DLCs, the pool increases tenfold. Like after like round 2 in Reg D, you don't even know what to get. Like the Sizzling Snom has like 2 round like if this is Reg D, these 2 would be like round 2 picks. The T-Flame and the Garchomp would have been like round 2 picks in Reg D. This shit's crazy. But yeah, I think with the DLC adds a lot of good stuff. So that could be an inherent bias towards my opinion. Like I said, I think these guys can probably go. I think PC's gas though. I don't like PC too much this gen. I think P2 is better. Funny enough, I generally think P2 is better than PC. Because it's like if you Terra, you lose your adaptability boosts, which kind of sucks. I mean, but you're probably Terraing Hands and Chomp on this team anyway. Maybe the Bramblegast occasionally. All right, and now next is going to be number 6, who is I believe you say it. I believe I say it wrong every single time. It is Iliaka. I like this team. I like this team for what it is. This looks really hard to prep for, but I'm gonna say it. I think Iron Threads had to go. I think Iron Threads is the weakest link here. I don't think Iron Threads benefits from anything inherently on the team. I like that it's a ground type, but you're already pretty fast enough, right? So I feel like you just get like a slow ground type. You get like literally you could get like a Donphan or like a Mudstale, and you'll probably be fine in that regard. Because you want something slower than the H Gudra. I think overall the team's pretty good. So they're slow and bulky because then you have the Palafin. Because your 3 switch-ins are these, right? Inherently for Palafin, you always want to switch in a bulky mon. You could switch in something frailer, but like that's the problem with Palafin drafts is a lot of people might just hit the baby Palafin slot. At least turn 1 they might. I mean, it depends if they're reading Protect or not. But most Palafins don't run Protect because they don't have the move slots for it. So it's like if they know you're gonna switch, well, now it's like a guessing game to be like, all right, well, what am I switching into, right? And versus this team, if you don't think they brought the Yuxi, because Yuxi doesn't inherently do anything here, because your Trick Room mode isn't that great. You want to play your fast mode most of the time. So if you want to get more mileage out of Yuxi, that isn't just screens, because I feel like Yuxi's just a screen spot here on this team. Like genuinely, the Yuxi would have been better on Judah's team than this team. But if you trade this out for like a slower steel type, for a slower ground type, it'll probably be a lot better. That's it though. This team is decent. The ground goes really hard. Any guy who's not in immunity is weak to it. That's also the other reason I think this should be removed. Tinkatuff isn't real. So you only have 3 ground weaknesses for what it is, because I don't think Tinkatuff matters. But if this guy was just a regular ground type and not a steel ground type, I think this team gets a lot better. I think it's a good team overall. Thunder Enam's really hard prep for. You got also, you have the booster contention with Moon, and your Moon wants that booster every single time. Roaring Moon wants the booster. That's the main thing. Roaring Moon's a booster hog. All right. Next is, I believe this is Legs, who has 2-2-2-2 Sun mode. Yep. I rated the 2-2-2-2 draft really high. I think this team is great. I like this team. This team looks really annoying. Yeah, like you think that this mouse hole's about to click beat up into Terrakia? Nope, he just Terra normal wildland pop bombs you and then something died. Yup. This team looks annoying to prep for. It really does. It has a lot that it can do. You have the sunroom. You have the sunroom. You have just Chiyu Sun in general. The thing that sucks is the speed control on this team. For what it is, this team's probably playing in Trick Room most of the time anyway. And if you're not, you're going to be using the Venusaur, right? So that's the thing about it that's why I didn't rate it insanely low for having bad Tailwind, like a bad Tailwind Mon in Dodrio, because Torkoal's so slow anyway, and then you have Torkoal Hat, it's fine. And if you think they're going to lead anti-Trick Room, you could just do Torkoal Chiyu and then just blow up what's in front of you, right? So there's a lot of outs to it because it has that inherent power to where you might not need that immediate speed control right away. I think the Trick Room is fine enough here, and then you also have Venusaur, who also forces item slots, which is great. The Terrakion and the Mousehold also function good enough to where if you predict that they're fast enough to win, hit hard enough to where they help out those modes as well. Terrakion being 108 and Mousehold being 111, of course. And Mousehold also gets rid of sashes, which is great for you. It can also help with other stuff. Like Hat getting up Trick Room, not next to Indeedee, if you don't want to lead Indeedee Hat, of course. Even though you should. I think Legs' team's overall pretty strong. I mean, the last two picks are like whatever. It's like a Pikachu Dodrio, right? Dodrio's never coming to games. Of course, you can see type charts resistances here. Ground sucks. You just click EQ versus this team. That's the one thing. I'll give you that. No, who had that Garchomp? Who the hell had it? Judah Judah's gonna bring Bandit, Ursaluna, Blood Moon versus this team, and it's just gonna go crazy. You just bring Bandit and it smokes this shit. Who had Garchomp? Oh my god. Oh, Sizzle and Snom? Yeah. Yeah, you bring Bandit Garchomp versus this. There's no counterplay. You definitely gotta look for a wide guard mon. But if you can play around the Earthquake and play it correctly, there's definitely a good team. It's definitely a good team. I rated it really high because I liked it a lot. Definitely though, that earthquake thing is like that. Definitely, this team's like really, really big, pointing out weakness. Next up is Risso. I like this team. I like this team a lot. This feels like this is definitely a 7-mon draft. These last guys are like whatever, but like these top 7 are good. These top 7 are really strong and really versatile. You have the Rillaboom Sneasler, great because then you don't. That right there, you don't really care about the Tailwind. You don't care about enemy Tailwind. You can set your own, but you don't care. Because you have Unburden 120 speed, you have the Booster Speedmon, you have Polt, you have Priority in Entei, right? So half the time his team doesn't care about your speed control unless it's Trick Room. And then he has Glastrier, Comfey, right? This Glastrier probably is actually going to come to more games than this Iron Jugulus. I'm going to call it. This Glastrier is coming to more games than Iron Jugulus, specifically for Trick Room. That's why I actually like the Glastrier pick here. It's a really good anti-Trick Room one. I don't know if it fits the team very well. It definitely is good for anti-Trick Room. His other weakness is that his rock resist, he does have like 1 rock resist. My bad. There's Bastion. He's 2. 1.5. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's 1.5. So Rock Slide is really good into his team. Overall. Of course, he has that grassy terrain healing, so it will do a little less, and you'd be able to heal up a little bit. It does kind of suck, though, the rock slide being clicked and all that kind of stuff. He's coaching with Steelsler, which I also really like. This team definitely benefits a lot from coaching. You know, you have Polt, who really likes it, Entei, who loves it, Rillaboom, who really likes it, Glastrier really likes it, Comfey healing. You can even do shenanigans with the Iron Jugulus and the Polt and Draining Kiss yourself, even though I think they'll both actually die from Draining Kiss. I don't know if they'll live, because they're both pretty frail, but you can do it if you want to. But no, I think this team's pretty good overall. I think this team has a lot of options, a lot of outs and all that. Decent resistance type chart. The only real one is what is it? Steel. Steel's the only real one that's pointing out right now. But even then, like most steel types are not going to be doing too much because of the Sneasler and the Entei. And then the other nice thing I like is that there's 2 Pokemon immune to Intimidate who are probably given to come to most games, and it pulls pretty flexible too. Report has that like fast screens mode. It has that banded set, life orb mixed. You could do shadow ball specs, Draco specs, all that kind of jazz with it, which is really nice. Because his team does lean a little bit more on the physical side. Polt probably will run special more often than not. And then you have Terra Comfey and all that. you can do some spicy stuff here with like Grassy Seed, Terra, Calm Mind, Comfey. So I think this team's pretty diverse, which is why I was rated so high overall. Like I said earlier, I think it's kind of hard to mess up DLC 2 teams. All right, now we have number 3. Keckmeister. This is another Whimsicott Annihilate team. I don't know why people keep getting a Whimsicott Annihilate in this league. Jesus Christ. This seems good. I actually like the Espatra pick here. Espatra kind of works out with the Volk and the... It actually really works well with the Sandy Shocks because you have the speed boost. So you can run Booster, Speed, Sandy Shocks, and then Lumina Crash for the special attack special defense drops. Which is cool. It's like a kind of like an offensive fake tiers kind of angle. Of course, you have the best support for Annihilate. You have 2 Follow Me Mons. You have two Screens Mons who can run potential fast screens like Sandy Shocks and Espatra. 2 Redirectors. You know, that kind of jazz. If you had a Sinistra, you'd basically have like the Annihilate Harem team, where, you know, Annihilate and his gang. Of course, you also have that jazz with the Gmolt and all that too. So you have another step angle in Volcarona. And potentially SD Ogrepon, which I don't think he'll run too much on this team. T-Win's good. Your Trick Room mode's bad. I'll give you that. The Trick Room mode on this team is like Annihilate or Whimsicott reversing Trick Room. That is like the one thing that held this team back a lot. But I think overall this team's really strong because a lot of Trick Room Mons because more Trick Room Mons fall on the physical side. They do struggle to beat Annihilate, especially after a bulk up, and they'll have to deal with Annihilate plus a Whimsicott. And Annihilate Whims will just OHKO some inherit Trick Room centers, which is the annoying part about it, which is why I did rate it high. Because while it does have Trick Room as a weakness, there is counterplay to Trick Room. Just killing the Trick Room set or taunting it. Because you'd be like, what? Mental Herb Terra Normal, right? Or Mental Herb Terra Dark, and if you get CC'd, you'll die, right? You get Rage Fisted, and you're not Sash, you'll die. If you get taunted, good luck. And, you know, most Trick Room setters are actually weak to Rage Fist, because most of them range from Psychic types to Ghost types. So yeah, and even then, if he really feels like it, he could just reverse it with Whimsicott. There's a lot of options this team could do. Oh, and even Spotter. I think Spotter gets Imprison Trick Room. I don't know if it gets Imprison. I know it gets Trick Room. You can just reverse it with that. But nah, this team's strong. This team's strong overall. This one weakness would be the inherit Trick Room. You know that. Even if this like Rock Slide with the Volcarona, you just switch it to Annihilate and get your Rage Fist boost. Your flying resist does suck though. I will say that your flying resist is pretty bad. It's Sandy Shocks only. All right. Next team is Alice Sabrina, and we have Pow Knight. Man, who would have thought Pow Knight being broken? Man, who would have thought? See, I like this team, and I'll tell you, Pow got even. I think Pow got even better because it has Stellar Terra. It's probably the first time I mentioned Stellar Terra, Terra Stellar, and all of this. But I was keeping in mind Stellar Terra throughout this. Because POW 1 Sucker Ice Spinner, Sacred Sword Protect. That's all you need. So you get that inherited Stellar boost on all your moves, right? You have that D-Knight, you have Howl with Screamtail, which is great support for POW, great support for D-Knight, even the Azu, you got the screens too, with the Screamtail Azu, great. Azu's super enabled on this team. You have Follow Me, Screens, Fake Out Coaching, you get free belly drums up, even just run Banded or just straight up bulky and just do what you want. You got Screamtail even enables special Meow because you have that booster speed fake tiers, which will help Meow hit a little bit harder with some of its special moves, which will change into, which is of course not the best strategy. It is something that is real though, for the most part. His last 3 picks are like the infamous WBG Duraludon. Billy Bull, who's the GOAT, and then like Vigoroth. Well, like who cares? But I think this like top 7, insane, and I think his bottom 2 are bringable to some games for what it is. Decent resistance chart, of course. You know, no being inherently very weak like every single team in WBG. The Fluttermane stocks go crazy, but yeah, I think you can't go wrong with Pow Knight plus Ozzy Screamtail. I genuinely don't ever see how these drafts can be bad with those 4. And I think that he has other options outside of that mode, which is really strong, like that screens mode Follow me. He even has coaching potentially. A strong priority held. Hit him on top doesn't even have to run intimidate. This guy can just go full out offensive. Just bring technicians that just start mock punching through your team, right? So like this team has options, which is really nice for it. And the item slots here, a lot of there's some item slot contentions, like the sash between Pow and what's his face, Meowscarada. One of the nice things is about Meow though is I know back in Reg A, Meow used to be draft Meow used to run Scarf a lot, and that was really nice for. And then when the Paradox guys came out, I believe that was Reg C or B. I think it was C. Scarf Meow got even better because now you're outspeeding Booster Moon, Booster Valiant, Booster Sandy Shocks, and all those guys. They all get outran by the Meow, right? Which is great for it. And a couple of those guys were definitely drafted here. So that definitely helps out a lot. The Meowscarada in stopping that kind of nonsense. All right, and our number one team is surprise, surprise, the Dozogiri team. Woohoo! Who would have thought that Dozogiri plus 3 pivots would be broken? Who would have thought that Shedtail and the Dozogiri wouldn't be broken? Not me, not I. Yeah, no, this team is it's a lot. It is a lot that this team can do. I think the most annoying part is that it's Dozogiri. I don't like Dozogiri in drafts. I don't. That's why I have it be so expensive here. Is because it's so annoying to prep for, especially if you build around it correctly, right? Because like you have that intimidate bulky pivot in Lando. You can run T spikes on Iron Moth to just get up T spikes and just have everything chipped down towards the end. You can even Shed Tail with it into Sceptile, right? Sceptile like Lando Sceptile lead. Shed Tail into like the Don Dozo. You turn with Lando into Tatsugiri +2 Dozo behind a substitute. +2. Like, what are you supposed to do about that? Like, you know what I mean? And then you have like the Raikou Howl support for Metagross and Lando, Snarl, Screens. Raikou can even Terra and go full out offensive if it really, really wants to. You can't fake it out. He's a fake out option in Ambipom, even though it's not that real. Like, Gligar is like whatever. It's like basically baby Lando T. It's baby Lando T. Iron Moth could run booster speed and just start hitting. You can even run the booster speed acid spray with the Raikou to hit stuff harder for that Dozogiri endgame and all that. And even if there's like 3 mons on this team weak to ground, you still have Lando T. Right? So it's not inherently weak to EQ because you have Dozogiri Lando T. You know what I mean? So yeah, this team is definitely my number one. This team looks very overwhelming to prep for sure. And then that will conclude my Raider PRs. Yeah. If you have anything to say, don't say it. Sorry, not sorry. But this is just my personal opinion. I'm joking with you. I'm joking. Have a good night, WBG. Hope you enjoyed the stream.